Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for season number 4. It is round 10 of the championship. We take in the Italian Grand Prix from the Temple of Speed, that is Monza. My name is James Head, and joining me in the commentary box tonight, it is Mr. Jota, albeit a very sniffly Jota here tonight. Jota, how you doing?
Yeah, not so well at the moment, unfortunately. You might be able to tell by my voice is that I'm unfortunately feeling quite unwell. I've had a little bit of a, well, to put it bluntly, crap bank holiday with a little bit of a sniffly nose and sore throat, you name it, though generally feeling okay. So a bit of an odd one, but as you can tell by the cough, yes, I am recovering.
Hopefully feeling better, though, by some action around here at the Temple of Speed in Italy. That is for sure. Looking coming into tonight as well, in terms of the race results, of course, from last week in Spain. Renz Thomason took the win for F7R. F7R's first victory since one of the opening rounds of the season. Can't put my finger on which one, but Renz taking that race win. Wiener there in second for ET8. He returns tonight for ET8. M. Sapola there in third for NLR. Liam Bowman, the Flying Scotsman, down in fourth, and Tootie there down in fifth. It was one of those races where everything kicked off within the final 3 or so laps of the race, and Renz came out on top, Jota.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just the race as well. Qualifying was so intense as well. I think this season has just been all about the qualifiers, hasn't it, actually? You know, the qualifying event has been so close. I mean, I made the bold assumption that I reckon the top 5 will be separated by under a tenth tonight in Q3. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But it is certainly what I'm looking forward to because, you know, it's just tightly compact, isn't it?
It is so tightly compact indeed. And I think, speaking about your prediction that we're coming into just before we come live on stream, you said everyone will be within a tenth of a second. So hopefully everything is going to be good. Or that you said the top 5 are going to be within a tenth of a second in qualifying. Hopefully that might be the case. Everyone, as I've just mentioned there in the chat, is on a set of intermediate compound tires. You are literally not missing a single thing out on track. Marlon's just gone quickest with a 22.3. Looking though at the standings coming into tonight, Team Shazoo still lead the way. Consecutive rounds that they've led the championship. They lead by 15 points coming into tonight over Novus Racing in second on 365. Apologies, by the way, if Jota is a little bit quiet because I've just realised my audio has changed there. Novus Racing in second on 365. F7R in third on 325. ET8 fourth on 295. NLR fifth on 204. TTM sixth on 146. Team TF10 and 7th on 135. Bunker Racing Team in 8th on 130. CPI in 9th on 102. And L-Plan Racing that in 10th on 63. And then Outplayed, of course, still on 29. Team Shizuka holding 15-point advantage coming into tonight. F7R closed the gap. Novus Racing crucially closed the gap as well. So Team Shazoo really need to be on their ball game, considering what has been said on social media from the Novus, F7R and ET8 camps especially.
Yeah, no, they're going to be on it here tonight as well because obviously they had a poor Spanish Grand Prix as well, only managing to get the 8th and the, I believe it was 11th place in Spain. So Shazoo need to sort of keep up the form that they had prior to that race. They were off the back of 5 consecutive podiums in a row, actually 6 if you count the double in China. So they've got the audacity to get there. It's just whether the Temple of Speed will show just the pace that Shazoo, you know, missed out on last week.
Yeah, definitely so. Tada's, by the way, in the chat. I'm literally just going to say this now. Jota is ill, if you can't tell in his voice. I have turned him up now, so it should be all good. You should be hearing him. He is still going to be quieter than normal, though, which means you get to hear more of me, unfortunately, which hopefully is not too bad, I think, going forward. Looking, though, on track right now, we have got Raphael for EPL there on a set of soft compound tyres. He's the first one to come out on this set of soft compound of tyre. I will fix the game sound momentarily. Hopefully OBS doesn't crash. Kai Pearson the one on top from Joe Murphy there in second. Mateo there in third at this early stage of qualifying. As I say, everyone is on a set of intermediate compound of tyres. But hopefully everything is all going to be good, and hopefully the game sound will now be working, which it now is, hopefully. But Kai Pearson out on top, Joe Murphy second, Mateo there in third. Mateo had a good race last night in Portugal, finishing third, of course, behind Cameron Dowds. Cameron Dowds back here tonight for Team Shazoo. Let's run on board with EPL Raphael for a run down in towards turn 1 and a run around here at, of course, the Temple of Speed as we embark now down in towards the right-hander of the Retafila chicane. at turn number 1, through the left-hander now of turn number 2, and then in towards the Curva Biasona, otherwise known as the Curva Grande to you and me, coming through the right-hand now of turn number 3, very thin on the apex there, coming through for the EPL man. He now comes in towards the Della Roger chicane at turns 4 and 5, and a 26.2 in the first sector, not too bad at all. He comes through that final lap, now in towards the right-hander now of turn number 6 at the first Lesbo, not to be confused with something else that might be on your mind. Now coming through the right-hander of turn number 7 at the second Lesbo, then down the Curva del Serraglio in towards, the Curva del Serraglio in towards Ascari, which is turns 8, 9, and 10 on the end of the middle sector split. The middle sector split is a 52.7 from him. Not looking too bad at all through the right-hander, but he invalidates coming through Ascari through turn number 9. That's Raphael's lap done.
Yeah, he's got an understeering setup on. That means he's prioritising the straights and thinking about the race. So, yeah, and you said that the Sector 1 time wasn't too bad. I don't think it was. I think he was off the pace a little bit, I'll be honest with you. So, I think he has prioritised looking for the straight line speed over perhaps, corners like Ascari where he could really make or break a lap time, as we've just seen with Raphael. He has broken it, but now he's going to be in a bunch of traffic, but I don't believe he's going to be on any kind of hot lap because he's going to run out of fuel, and he's also going to run out of ERS as well. So not a representative lap time. Would have been the first on the board for the soft tyres, but it was well off the pace nonetheless. I wouldn't have expected him to be anywhere near the front. If you are just managing to hear my voice, by the way, apologies if it does sound a bit rough, as James alluded to earlier. I am recovering a little bit from a little bit of a bug. I don't know what it was. I feel absolutely fine. It's just my head is just full of cold. And that's about it, really. So apologies if you do hear an occasional sniffle from me.
Hopefully it's not too bad for the stream. Oh, as Raphael's nearly made the contact there on the back of the Red Bull, or one of the Red Bulls, and that is, of course, one of the TF10 drivers. I'm assuming it might be TF10 Enzo. It is TF10 Enzo running down the straight. I thought it might have been the Frenchman who caused that little bit of blocker there. Raphael was down a lap time, luckily, so that might not get counted, but the TF10 man running very slow down the hill. I think we've got one of the Williams up first, if I'm not mistaken. It is TTM Placky, who we are waiting on first to set on a set of soft compoundized laps. Hopefully everything's okay in terms of the stream quality and everything like that. My camera is lagging like mad. Everything is lagging like mad. Hopefully everything is okay, though. Hopefully you can all hear us, and hopefully you're getting pictures through, which is the main thing. Kai Pearson out on top from Joe Murphy in second, Mateo there in third. TTM, though, a team that you focused on, of course, previously in the season, Jota. Placky there down in 13th position, on a run now down in towards turn number 1. What can we expect from TTM, given how Allison's currently 8th position, that's on a set of intermediate compound tires, remember?
They had a good week, actually, didn't they, in Spain? It's just that the unfortunate nature of the safety car meant that they ended up struggling a little bit. Actually, it was a good recovery drive from Martin, but unfortunately, he was so far back that he ended up causing a little bit of a double stack for his teammates in towards the front, so he ended up losing positions as a result. TTM have got the tenacity to be towards the front. They've just not been able to get their season going, so hopefully the pace of what they saw in Spain might be the kicker to get them going in Italy. And not too bad in the first sector, chucking it through the right-hander, getting on the power quite early, but actually staying off of the curbs on this particular occasion. Tucks it through the right-hander again, the rear end stepping out ever so slightly, so clearly prioritising a lower downforce setup again, this time on the rear, to try and get the extra rotation on that rear end, and then hopefully get the front to point in the right direction. Going through a chucks in a little bit of understeer, but well caught, actually. Going through the left hand and mounts the curve ever so slightly. Has to get off the throttle ever so slightly. That'll harm him all the way down here as well. Bit of traffic as well coming up on the right-hand side. You got plenty of cars out of the way, and there comes out of the way does the Mercedes, the Shazoo man on the right-hand side. Going through then into the final corner, then at Parabolica, and then chucking the car through to the start-finishing line. The first of the soft tyre runs is 1:19.0.
Yeah, 1:19.0 from Placky. Apologies, by the way, I did have my camera on. Hopefully that might be fixing it. I have turned bitrate down as well, so it is a little bit concerning how we are lagging quite a lot, I've got to say, on the stream here tonight. 2D on a lap time right now. FPL Louis Valentine is on a lap time, a name that is very familiar to WR Legacy Divisions, and indeed WR Console Tier 1 viewers as well. Louis Valentine making his return to console here tonight. The F7R man goes to the line, 1:18.8. I think I said FBR man earlier on. F7R man, I mean, into third. MVR Gabor, though, goes quickest. Joe Murphy there in second. Now bettered by Kai Pearson, who goes quickest. The current championship leader, who, of course, is going to be racing on Friday night. It is Kai Pearson out on top. Gabor there in second. Joe Murphy there in third. Hopefully everything is now stabilised. It definitely seems like it's running smoother on OBS. It's just audio was glitching out quite a lot on my end, but hopefully everything's okay. Kai Pearson out on top, 2D in second, Gabor there in third. What I can tell you though, Jota, A-OK, certainly for Kai Pearson so far.
Yeah, and A-OK on my prediction as well. Top 3 separated by under a tenth, and we've only just got started in qualifying, so I still think this is going to be an impeccably close qualifying. Nonetheless, Cameron Dowd's coming across now through Parabolica, looking to set a lap time for Team Shizuoka. Has to catch a little bit of a snap on the rear end. Is he going to dive into the pits? No, he's going to hook it to the inside line and then come across the line right now, and he's actually just a bit under a tenth and a half down. And stays in 6th as a result of that one. Beats his teammate Ogween, but he's down in 10th and should be okay, as I believe it is Mateo that's just come across the line for 2nd, making it the top 4 separated by under a 10th.
And 10th position there for F7R Yossi to the line as well. Goes in behind his teammate by, what, 400ths of a second, I think that is. Actually, very good symmetry between 7th all the way down to 12th. From Cameron Dowd all the way down to Ogween. You'll probably see this on the stream. Cameron Dowd, an 18.750. Allison, an 820. Louis Valentine, an 850. Yossi, an 890. And then you got Finn, who's just came in on a 119.923, 118.923, and it's just ruined the whole lot. So, unfortunately, the BR team has now come out of symmetry compared to what we had. But Kai Pearson out on top, Mateo there in 2nd, 2D there in 3rd. Very, very good so far out on track, as Joe Murphy feels like he's done enough. A 118.735 is his best lap. He retires there into the pit lane. I expect the top guys to retire in the pit lane, but it is going to be your likes of, I think, maybe F7R Yossi, Louis Valentine, Allison going out there for another run, and then Ogween, Marlon, everyone else further down the field going for another run. Somebody that hasn't got another run in, however, is Raphael, but he is on the run now down in towards Parabolica, otherwise known as Curva Alboreto on the track nowadays. Coming through the final corner is the EPL man. Kai Pearson there retires from the session. Raphael now coming through the final couple of corners. Slowest for now, he hasn't had a lap time, but he goes 8th. 8th fastest there for the 118.791. Good lap time from the fastest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle on track.
He's looking good, is Raphael, at the moment as well. He beats his teammate by quite a margin. He's down in 15th as it stands. He's on the brink, but it will be through Will Belby. Towards the back, though, I think there's definitely a bit more pace to be found in the man of the moment at the moment, you have to argue, in Gatkowski. Is an absolute flyer around circuits like this, and unfortunately down in 18th. So I think there's more pace in the Cedar Phoenix Igniter, and Igor Jelen yet to set a lap time on the board. Enzo obviously hasn't set anything provisional either, so you know, I still think the likes of Palaki's got a little bit more pace in him as well. But the thing that surprises me more than anything is F7R. Louis Valentine and Jose are hugging each other in 10th and 11th respectively. So the team have managed to get their drivers to a similar pace immediately out the blocks. It's just unfortunate that as it stands, one of them would be knocked out in Q2. So need to find a little bit more pace, and hopefully they can get both of the drivers up in similar fashion towards the front.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. TTM Placky, I've got to be honest, is a name that I thought is down there from the field. Gatkowski pretty much the same. Enzo the same. There's going to be a big name going out, I think, in Q1, is what I can definitely guarantee you. Placky, I know, was very good around this track. CPI looking at Gatkowski, looking at their social media upload a little bit earlier on. Full Polish lineup with anger issues is what they said on social media. So, if that's the case, I mean, Igor Jelen, Gatkowski need to show a bit of that anger to get through into Q2, one suspects.
He needs to put the pace up as well, because he hasn't set a lap time on the board, so there's absolutely no chance of any kind of conservative lap time from Igor Jelen in this one. Gatkowski needs to put his boot down a little bit as well. I think he was perhaps being a little bit more conservative on his first run. We do see this actually from Gatkowski, don't we, that when you put the pressure on him, he actually delivers quite nicely. So let's see what Gatkowski can do. He's just tucking in behind Belby at the moment, actually. Of course, we'll be on the brink of being knocked out as it stands so far. Ogween down in 13th is a bit of a shocker for me, though. The Team Shizou man, of course, Shizou looking to try and maintain their lead in the championship with Ogween down in 13th. Well, if he does get through out of Q1, it's not going to bear well for Q2 as it stands. So if I were Ogween, I'd be risking a set of soft tyres and just putting a new set of boots on and just trying to get the car through. Top 7 all out, though, and people, Raphael, will not be leaving as well, so it will be everyone from 9th downwards who don't feel safe enough to leave out of this qualifying session, which is no surprises, really, isn't it, when the close proximity of the drivers in the pace in this league at the moment. World Season 4 has turned out to be an absolute cracker for how close people are.
It has, and there's a big potential, actually, within this Q1 session that drivers further down the field, the likes of Cameron Dowd, Joe Murphy, might be sitting on their levels a little bit. If somebody gets going, improves 0.3 of a second, and then we have a whole host of drivers improving 0.3 of a second, then those could be the guys in trouble. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It might, But that is the improvement level that you can find around this track on a final run from a mid-run in the session. As Flacky now comes down and towards the right-hander of turn number 1, will fly on board with this lap time, on board with the TTM, and now coming through the right-hander of the left-hander of turn number 2, now through the right-hander now of turn number 3. At cover BSO, cover Grande to you and me, now up the hill, in toward the slight rise, in toward the left-hander of turn number 4, the first sector split to 26.2, and he is bang on where I expect him to be through that first sector. Now to the Delaware chicane at turns 4 and 5, really nicely done on the curve there on the left-hand side. Now through the right-hander of turn number 6 at the first Lesbo, runs the car out wide slightly just to get the traction coming now through the second Lesbo, and that is absolutely picture perfect from the TTM man so far. Now coming down the hill through the covered El Serraglio in towards Ascari, and this is looking pretty good, I've got to say, from Flacky's perspective, but he's down in the middle sector. On is what we were setting, he's 700s up, but he is down compared to what his first sector was like, so he has lost a bit of time. Belby there has left the session, and he's looking in trouble right now in 15th position. Try and get him back in if we can. It is on invite only, so we can try and invite him in. Flacky now coming through the final couple of corners, through the right-hander now, Curva Grande, through Parabolica even on the run towards the line. Is Flacky done enough to get through for TTM? Yes, he does. He goes 5th.
Yeah, top 5 separated by under a 1/10 of a second. So really, really impressive stuff at the moment between the drivers out there at the moment. Enzo coming across the line, loses the rear ever so slightly, going through Parabolica. He'll lose a little bit of time there, and he might be at risk as a result of that one. Comes across the line right now. Yep. Oh, it's only 18th. TF10 have lost a driver in this one. Beats Gatkowski, who's down in the second sector by 23 thousandths of a second. So for the first time, I think, in quite a while, Gatkowski under pressure is not delivering at the moment. Puts the power down, then hooks it to the right-hand side. Gatkowski, Louis Valentine going 10th fastest for F7R. Then Gatkowski comes across the line. Oh, he's gone fastest of anyone as Gatkowski, and manages to get CPI through at least one of their drivers through to Q2. Here comes Igor Jelen going through the right-hand side as well. Allison goes 4th fastest in this one, Flacky up to 7th as it stands so far. Here comes then Igor Jelen, comes across the line, 6th fastest. Both CPI drivers are through, so Enzo is out. Belby is out. Yossi is just looking to get across the line. He's currently on the brink at the moment. Ogween looking to try and improve. Yossi goes 5th fastest. He'll be happy with that one. One of the NLR drivers is definitely out. Is it going to be 2? It certainly is. Both of the NLR drivers are out, and Louis Valentine will be counting his lucky stars. He's just sneaked through.
And literally exactly what I said pretty much happened within that session. We saw, what, 6 drivers that was improve beyond into the top 10, and Cameron Dowd and Joe Murphy 12th and 13th. It nearly happened, didn't it? But Louis Valentine is through by the skin of his teeth for F7R. F7R, of course, with Rennes winning last week in Spain. Marlon there out in 16th. Justin out. Both NLR drivers out in Q1. Finn there down in 18th. Disappointing from him. He didn't get a good run on that final lap. On that in that Q1 session, 18.923 for him. Belby there out for EPL, and Enzo out for Team TF10. So that means 7 teams go forward with at least both of their drivers. BRT, EPL, and TF10 only go forward with 1. NLR, of course, absolutely gone. So it's actually 6 teams that go forward with both their drivers, and then 3 just with 1 driver going forward into Q2. But Gatkowski out on top. The polls literally said it in chat there, and literally said it in the the commentary a little bit earlier on. They needed to use their anger issues. Their anger issues were well and truly used, and if Gatkowski can prove that across the sessions, he could be a favourite for pole.
Yeah, I mean, that's an impeccable lap time. Still within a 10th of the top 3, though, so he's going to have a lot of stiff competition around him, but that's exactly what Gatkowski needed. To be fair, he was down in the second sector, so he could have got even faster than that lap time, but he still managed to make a real lap time, a really impressive one as well, to go fastest in Q1. Important that, though, for TF10 in the championship, though, currently 7th overall, 135 points as it currently stands. TTM on 146, both of their drivers are through. Bunker Racing Team on 130, both of their drivers, I believe, are through. I know they've lost one of the drivers, so it's important that for the championship. And of course, CPI on 102, both of their drivers are through, so that could be pretty critical for TF10 down in 20th, and NLR, of course, down in 5th at the moment on 204. Big L for them as well. This is going to be fun, this one. Q2 coming up.
This is going to be really fun indeed. Gatkowski topping the session from WOR Console Tier 1. Current championship leader Kai Pearson in 2nd. Ogween there in 3rd. Fantastic end to that Q1 session. Q2 was about to come very, very soon indeed here in Monza. Let me know in the comment section who you're supporting, where you're supporting from as well, and who you think is going to get pole position over into Q3. I did see a comment earlier on in the session, and I'm not sure who it was from, that there might be rain potentially within Q3. I definitely saw a comment regarding this earlier on. So there might be a little bit of rain in Q3. Judging by what we've got in Q2, it is slightly more overcast. The bright blue skies and sunshine have completely gone from the Temple of Speed. Means that the lap times could potentially be slower in this session as well. And that means it's a level playing field, and everyone, you could see how many drivers are fighting to get out there, because they obviously feel they have to get a run in. If there's any rain forecast in the session, they've got to get out immediately to try and run.
Yeah, it's a big rush out for people to get out there and set something on the brink here. Everyone leaving really quickly, so rain potentially is on the forecast. One of the Novus drivers leaving it a little bit late to leave this. Obviously, he wants to try and avoid all of the traffic at the moment. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So everyone leaving so quickly would indicate to me that rain is definitely on the way. There is a little bit of sunshine at the moment just over Parabolica, so there might be a little bit of time to play with. But if they're sending everyone out straight away, then that would immediately tell me that rain is either imminent at the end of the first session or potentially in the second set of runs, which would indicate to me that's the reason why people want to get out quickly, so they can have an opportunity to at least have a couple of runs. I don't think the rain is going to fall immediately, but I think it will happen at some point in this qualifying session.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen in Q2, more than likely it'll probably happen in Q3. Let's just face it. Normally, the rain in Italy does like to spice things up. We saw, of course, wet racing around here in real life in numerous editions of the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, once again, here tonight in World, we could potentially see some rain. Not holding above hope. I mean, it'll make things a hell of a lot more interesting, but I had a league race around here in intermediate compound tyres. Honestly, absolutely worst thing that could ever happen to me, and worst thing that could ever happen to these drivers. So for the sake of them, I'm hoping it's a dry race, but for the sake of the viewers, I'm also wanting a wet race, if that makes sense.
Sneaking suspicion that we've got a little bit of a mix of soft tyres that are used and new, so a little bit of a mixed bag in what's happening at the moment. So there might be a little bit of differentiator in this second qualifying session immediately out the blocks. So let's see what happens. First driver to set a lap time by the looks of things will be TTM's Placky, who's just coming across Parabolica now to get on with this one here. A bunch of traffic now as people try to keep the distance and avoid getting the dirty air going through turn one.
Yeah, Kirby and Show Off, by the way, saying rain coming, rain in 10 minutes, apparently. I don't trust anyone, to be honest, in terms of what I had in EML last week, but you never know. Placky on the way down in towards the right-hander, turn number 1, through the left-hander now, turn number 2 at the Rettifilio chicane, and now embarks in towards cover. Grundy, you can already see, actually, it is getting visibly darker. Out on track, coming through turn number 3, so maybe that rain in 10 minutes is definitely going to be happening. Placky through this first sector split to 26-1, so he seems to me he's on a fresh set of soft compound tyres compared to everyone else that might be on a used set, as Placky now comes in toward the right-hander now of Lesmo 1. Very difficult corner to try and get on. You ride that curb, you get forced out wide. Nicely done though by Placky this time around. Coming to the Lesmo 2, and now on the run down the curve at El Serralio in towards Ascari at turns 8, 9 and 10. And this is not looking like a bad lap at all. Of course, the cloud cover building over the circuit means the softs could be running at a lower temperature. 52.3 though, and an invalidation, crucially, coming through Ascari. Let's see what this lap time could have been though. From Placky's perspective, he's now coming through the final couple of corners. I think somebody has just hit the curve, quite literally, on the inside. It might have been the other TTM man and behind.
Allison's done exactly the same thing as Placky's done. That's the last thing TTM needed, because they might have both of their drivers out of qualifying as a result. We'll see what Placky does though as it comes across the line right now. Would have been an 18.5, so he would have been in and around Gatkowski's pole position lap time in Q1. Allison comes across the line 18.8, 3/10 down in this one.
Raphael towards the line as well. 2D and 19 flat. Raphael and 19-1. You can already tell who's on a set of used set of tyres and who's on a set of dry compound, on a fresh set of used. A fresh set, even a compound tyres, and there's the proof. There's Kai Pearson to the line. Cameron Dowds, though, comes out there. The Flying Scotsman 2.0 is in full effect. Kai Pearson there down in second. Wiener there in third. Matteo was saying in social media early on, his life will depend on the lap. If he gets one in, and he does get one, and he goes onto the front row of the grid for now. Cameron Dowds out on top, Mateo there in second, Kai Pearson there in third. We've got F7R on the run toward the line with Louis Valentine and Yossi Ogwe goes second. couldn't even speak. Team Shazoo 1-2 now for Ogween. Louis Valentin now on the run to the line. He's looking quite quick, and he goes 5th in the end, behind Igor Jelen. Igor Jelen definitely happy with that lap. Yossi on the run to the line. He goes 8th faster, so he could be in a little bit of trouble, but it is definitely key to see who's on a set of used set of tyres, who's not, and it is Cameron Dowds out on top, Ogween second, Mateo there in third, covered by 500ths of a second, the top 3 right now.
Yeah, curiously at the moment, Igor Jelen's actually gone faster than Gatkowski. Gatkowski was flying in the first sector. He set purple by about a 10th on Cameron Dowd. So he was flying out there, but he lost all the time going through Parabolica. He just decided to be so much more conservative and avoid the curves. But you can see the ground is starting to get saturated as a result of the humidity building on circuit. And I just have a feeling that the soft tyres weren't as good that they would have been right at the start of the qualifying lap. Right now, the track is now starting to deteriorate. So if they're going to set a lap, they need to do it now. Otherwise, when that rain falls, I have a feeling it's going to become intermediate quite quickly.
It will be intermediates very quickly indeed. It's normally around about a 3-minute delay from the rain starting to fall, from it going to DRS disabled, and that is what's going to be absolutely key, as the ball there is fighting through the traffic on his down lap there in 10th position. Currently, as it stands, 2D, Raphael, Joe Murphy out, and both TTM drivers will be out as well, and that's Placky and Allison, 14th and 15th position. Endel there rejoining the session for Q3, or to watch Q3. Later on, of course, he's out in there in Q1, but Cameron Dowd out on top, Ogween there in second, Mateo there in third. I always get very, very excited, I've got to be honest, when I see Cameron Dowd and Mateo up there in front. They had a very good battle, or they were going to have a very good battle until Cameron Dowd showed his dominance last night in Portugal in PSGL. And Cameron Dowd and Mateo, 2 young, really good, rising young stars. F1 Esports obviously getting announced today as well, with how many events? I think 12 events getting piled into, what, 2 months worth of action, I think, for the F1 Sim Racing Championship. These are the future, these guys that we are seeing out on track, and these might be the guys that you see next year in F1 Sim Racing. That's if it's around by then.
Hopefully then you guys will tune in for the British Grand Prix at round 14, because we'll be, I think, competing with F1 Esports as well at round 14 as well on May 7th. So feel free to tune in and see if we crown a champion, folks, over that one. We're keeping an eye out, though, on Joe Murphy. He's immediately left the pit lane. Both of the TTM boys have decided to leave straight away, and, of course, as is TF10 Tudy. So those that knocked out have decided, yeah, no, I've got to get straight out here. But I think they're going to find that this circuit is very different to where it was prior to invalidating their laps or not setting a good one, because I think the humidity building is going to cause some serious issues on circuit. You can see just a little bit of reflection building on the tarmac, and that just tells me the soft tyres aren't going to be performing at their best, and there's lots of trail braking for Joe Murphy at the moment to try to get these tyres really, really warmed up for this lap. Here we go.
Yeah, and if there was rain in 10 minutes, that's going to be in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. If the rain is going to come, it's going to wet the track before the end of the session. So this is going to be key for drivers to get out, and that's why they're rushing out the pit lane, to try and get another run in. Some more so than others, I've got to be honest. Ogween's staying in the pit lane there right now, but Joe Murphy, the Irishman, now coming through the final corner on the run towards the line. I think his last appearance as Kai Pearson picks up an illegal blocking. That will get removed, of course, with the mandatory restart. But Joe Murphy now down in towards turn 1. His last appearance, I think, was in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. And where did he finish then? He finished on the podium, and Joe Murphy will be definitely looking to try and do what he did in Singapore last season as well, as he fights the car through turn 1, fights the car through turn number 2, but I can already tell you, Jota, he's going to be down coming through this first sector, because he made that mistake coming through the first chicane. He loses speed and time now up this run in toward the first sector split. He's a 10th and a half down.
Yeah, I told you they're going to find that this track is going to be very different. The humidity starting to build on the track. It's just not as grippy as it once was, and Joe Murphy making the mistake into turn 1 because he brakes too late in comparison to the track sort of conditions out there at the moment. It might not be raining, but that humidity increase, I'm telling you, is so powerful in this particular session here. Placky and Allison, at least, have got no particular delta to work from here, so they've got no pressure to look on here, as Joe Murphy, though, goes a quarter of a second faster in the second sector, so he has found a little bit of pace in the second, but that first sector might cost him here as he tries to avoid all of the rest of the traffic. It's like Mercedes and an Aston Martin just going through Parabolica. Shouldn't cause any dirty air issues here, as Mateo has left the session here. He's in third, so he should be okay, as then he comes across the line, does Joe Murphy. Where will the man put himself as he comes across in only 9th place and 0.02 of a second faster than Wiener? He's at risk.
He is really at risk, I've got to be honest. TTM's Placky is coming through toward the final couple of corners as well. Allison is up in the middle sector. Placky, I think, is up first on a run now, coming through the final couple of corners. I think Gatkowski is just preparing for his outlap just ahead of him. So Placky now on the run toward the line. Is he going to set a lap time here for TTM? He will. Where does he go? He goes behind Kai Pearson. That's where he goes. He's there in 8th position, ahead of Gatkowski, ahead of Yossi. Knocks Joe Murphy now down into 11th. Wiener there in 12th. Wiener for ETA. He's going to be one of the next, I think, to come across the line. Allison to the line goes 5th, and Wiener is down in that middle sector, but he is purple compared to his personal best. Now he's not, because he's just invalidated coming through Ascari. That chicane, honestly. That's the last
thing Wiener needed.
It is the last thing, and honestly, that chicane is so tricky to get right at the best of times, even in a qualifying session. In the race, you'll see plenty of drivers picked up 3-second penalties through there.
Oh, Gabba's flying though. He's 4/10 up in the second sector, so perhaps the humidity not as bad as I thought it was, actually, as he's coming across then into the final set of corners. Kai Pearson going fastest, and then his teammate will be coming across very soon, 18.3, so a couple of tenths faster than the fastest lap in Q1. So I think would have been a little bit more time if Gabba loses the rear ever so slightly, has to go sideways through Parabolic, and then it comes across the line right now, does Gabba, and goes 3rd fastest, splits the two Shazoo boys, but it is NVR Shazoo, as we expect in this championship.
Yeah, and 88 with Matteo there in 5th, who still hasn't got a lap time set in. Igor Jelen there in 6th, Allison there in 7th. F7R are looking in danger, I think, potentially here. Gatkowski there goes 4th. Louis Valentine's looking pretty good. F7R potentially are in trouble here to have at least one of their drivers out in Q2. Louis Valentine now on the run to line. Should go toward the top end of the field. Oh, and he does. He goes 2nd. 118.4. Yossi now down in 10th. Placky there in behind. Tootie in behind him as well. Yossi is the one for me. F7R, they don't look comfortable out on track. Not like Rennes, as it's starting to rain, I think, now out on track. It is indeed. The rain is now falling out on track. So that might well truly be the final unsorted. And that point that I was going to make about F7R, I think Yossi has just been saved by the rain.
That just shows as well the competitive nature of Shazoo and NVR this season. Two of their drivers, both each on 1:18.512. So they have both matched exactly the same lap time, and Ogween only 100th of a second faster than Cameron Dowd and Gabba in that one. So Gatkowski has managed to get his car through, and both CPI drivers, Igor Jelen in 8th as well, actually. So that means both CPI drivers are through. Yossi, and once again, F7R have only just managed to sneak a driver through to the next qualifying round, but there it is again. F7R's two drivers separated by a large margin. We've managed to get somewhere close in Q1 and Q2. It's separated again, so not exactly what they wanted. And that invalidation for Wiener, I told you it would be detrimental, and that has just cost ETA any chance of getting both of their drivers through. Matteo disconnected, but he has managed to get through to qualifying as it stands.
He has managed to get through indeed. For now, at least, Raphael and Wiener, they need to get on with things if they want to set another lap time in. The rain is falling, but it is very, very minute. It is very light out on track right now. It might take towards the end of the session for this track to get fully wet. Raphael now on the run towards turn number 1. This is now his chance now to shine, and his chance for EPL to get through into Q3. If the time is found through the first sector. Coming to the left-hander turn number 2, it still looks bone dry, the track. I've got to be honest, even with this light, what essentially say is drizzle coming down right now out on track through the right-hander now of turn number 3, what is Raphael going to do coming through this first sector split? His first sector split is 300ths up. So he is finding that time for now, coming to the left-hander 4, through the right-hander turn number 5. This is now all dependent on this middle sector especially, and the final sector. The rain is just beginning to pick up in terms of intensity. So he's now got himself in a race against the rain. The rain falling out on track. He nearly falls foul on the curbs there. Coming to the left-hander turn number 7, down through the Curva del Seraglio, on the run down in towards turns 8, 9 and 10 of the Ascari. And he is not finding time in the middle sector. He ran too far wide, was a little bit too heavy on the curb, and that's why he's losing him time. But he's good through Ascari. He can still do this, but I think it's going to be a real uphill task. He now comes in towards Parabolica at turn number 11. It's Kai Pearson out on top, Louis Valentine there in 2nd, Ogween there in 3rd. I don't think you'll be seeing them for the remainder of this session. Raphael now, though, coming through the final corner on the run to the line. Finding big time. No, he doesn't improve in the end. He backs off into the rain. Obviously, EPL felt it's too wet out there, and he's not improving.
Yeah, no, I think that is probably it for any people wanting to improve their lap times. Joe Murphy curiously trying to have another go at this one as well. He's down in the first sector on his fastest lap time. I think if Raphael was down on his non-representative lap time, it wasn't looking very good. He's up in the second sector by only 17 thousandths of a second, though, so he might be able to get a little bit of time, not off his lap time, but he might not be through in qualifying. If he does get through, it would be a miracle, and that miracle would end up sending F7R's Yossi out of qualifying. Of course,
really nice.
Looking to try and find some kind of form. Here he comes then through parabolic. Actually, the power is down, and he comes across the start finishing line now. Does Joe Murphy and does not improve on his lap time. Half a tenth though, so the track conditions are definitely slowly deteriorating. The question is what is Q3 going to look like? Are we going to have a mixed bag where that crossover period is still a thing and people are going to be rushing out for softs, or is it going to be a soft run with mildly moist conditions out there?
I personally think, honestly, we could be seeing full intermediate compounder tyres at the start of Q3. Judging how far the rain is falling, and judging by the gap between sessions in game time, I think it will be inters at the start of this qualifying session. I will put a £5 bet on, but I don't want to lose my own money because I'm feeling that smug about it. But Sky Pearson had on top, Louis Valentine in second, Ogween there in third, Cameron Dowds there in fourth, Gabor, Gatkowski, Mateo, Igor Jelen, Allison and Yossi, the top 10. The 5 drivers not making it through, that sadly, into Q3, despite their best efforts, I've got to say. 2D there in 11 didn't feel necessary to set another lap time, neither did Flacky. Joe Murphy nearly improved. Wiener nearly improved. He was very frustrated coming toward the line there, down in 14th. And Raphael, unfortunately, just off the pace there for EPL, down in 15th position. Admire FUT there in the chat saying up the CPI. And Evil saying, Leo, give me that Fanatec. Yeah, to be honest, we would all love a Fanatec, let's be honest. But Kai Pearson out on top, Louis Valentine in second, Ogween there in third. It's a bit like Monaco last season where Kai and Louis Valentine were in the top 2. And look what happened there. Louis Valentine went up the road by 20 seconds and won. Albeit for OP, now part of F7R, he's on the back of Kai Pearson at the end of Q2.
You know what would really work with his Fanatec wheel, actually, is an NLR seat, because it's really comfortable, isn't it, on that one? So we'll just gloss over that little period of
product placement.
Kai Pearson going fastest, though for the NVR team Alpha Tauri, of course, that 5th place penalty will not stand going through into obviously out of qualifying rather. Louis Valentine in second though for F7R is exactly what they need, but are they going to find the pace in Q3? Both Shazoo drivers through, and a bit of a shocker maybe for some. Both of the Phoenix Igniters drivers are also through as well. With Gatkowski fastest over Igor Jelen. This is going to be fun, this one, actually. Don't discredit Gatkowski under pressure. He is a driver on fire at the moment.
Definitely. So, reminder as well of the championship standings coming into tonight as well. Just while we get in towards Q3, Team Shazoo out on top, 380 points out on top. Only by 15 points though. Both their drivers through into Q3. Novus Racing, both their drivers into Q3, 365 points. F7R there in third, barely scraping both of their drivers through with Yossi down in 10th. ET8 there in fourth. I believe they've also got their session. Oh, it's looking pretty dry, I've got to say, out on track. So Jota definitely, I owe Jota a fiver in terms of my prediction there. NLR then down in fifth. They haven't got their drivers through. Both of them are, of course, in Q1. TTM have got a driver through in sixth position. Team TF10 and 7th on 135. Bunker Racing Team on 130. CPI on 102. And then L-Plan Racing Team and 10 on 63. We're going to cut straight to the action though, because the drivers are absolutely fleeing the pit lane. They want to try and get a run in. This potentially could be, Jota, a one-shot qualifying session.
Yeah, one and only lap, I think, for these drivers, because the track will deteriorate regardless. It will be one of those situations where, you know, you might be okay if you fueled for 2 laps and mess up 1 lap. You might have the opportunity to have another go. It might not cost you too much time, but the drivers will be very aware that the track is deteriorating rapidly at the moment, and Gabba is leaving it very late to leave the pit lane at the moment. In fact, he's just left his pit box now, so very curious indeed there, as Gabba for the 2nd time has decided to leave it very late. Louis Valentine wants to get on with it as well. He's overtaken, actually racing with drivers out there at the moment. He's racing with the Shazoo man, almost getting into a collision with, I believe that is Cameron Dowd in that one. So obviously Louis Valentine wants to get on with it.
He does want to get on with it. It's a bit like qualifying in, when was it, 2019, I think it was, around here, and actually forcing the Aston Martin off track. This is not playing by the rules, F7R. This is not playing by the rules, Louis Valentine. But it is hilarious because everyone has got to try and get a run in. They've got to fight for space. This is not going to be illegal blocking penalties. This is going to be literally who wants it most and who wants to try and get a bit of slipstream running down the straight. Of course, slipstream is banned here in WOR, but it is literally like a race. Anyways, we'll come on board with the action. Allison has just invalidated through the final corner, but he is actually going on his run now, down in towards turn number 1. The yellow flags are definitely out there for the drivers out on track. Drivers are giving each other space now, which is at least good, but Allison down into the left-hand turn number 2 now, at the end of the Rettifilio chicane, and he could be the one that gains the advantage from the best conditions basically out on track. Matteo and Gabor might be further down the field come the end of this session, but Allison through the first sector split, 26.9, already down noticeably on Q2. As he comes through the right-hander now, turn number 6, and then through into the Lesmo 1 at turn number 6, and then through the right-hander turn number 7 from TTM's Allison as he now comes through this this middle sector split. Up and coming very soon now down the curve at El Serrallo in towards Ascari. Cameron Dowd, Igor Gell and Kai Pearce in the top 3. Won't remain that way. Allison through the middle sector. 54.2, already off, miles off in this middle sector, but nicely done. Coming through Ascari through turn number 10, and now on the run up towards Parabolica now at turn number 11. Allison has got so much space, he might be beneficiary of this. Everyone in behind's fighting for that pace. He's got the better conditions right now, the TTM man, as he comes through the final corner. On the run to the line, it's going to be around about a 121, I think, as Yossi has crashed halfway down the straight, and that's an instant with a Shazoo, man. On the run to the line, though, from Allison. Cameron Dowd's not the one. It's Ogwing that has got involved that instant. That's definitely got investigated by the stewards for sure. Kai Pearson now going quicker than Allison. Allison there down to 3rd. Louis Valentine, Gatkowski all going quicker. Cameron Dowd's on the run to the line. Wow! 20.6, that's a big statement lap there from him. Matteo now coming through the final corner. His life depends on this. Is Matteo going to go on the front row of the grid? Yes, he does. He goes second fastest, 20.887. Very good lap time being set. Gabor now on the run to the line. He now goes second. Cameron Dowd down on top. Gabor there in second. Matteo there in 3rd. That's the end of the first runs, and that might well be, Joseph, the end of their final runs.
Yeah, you know what? That was actually a mess in the midfield. A bunch of drivers all just hugging each other around there. I was imploring to talk about it, but decided to talk on mute while I was coughing. You know, the midfield, Allison, you know, obviously ran away with it and managed to set a lap time initially out the blocks. But the problem is CPI sent Gatkowski and Igor Jelin, and they didn't put any space between each other. So what effectively happened is Gatkowski was getting tow from Igor Jelin throughout the entire lap. So yes, he might be gaining on the straights, but through the corners, he was understeering so hard was Gatkowski. And that lap time is just so not representative of his entire qualifying session throughout this, you know, throughout these 3 qualifying sessions. And that is just because CPI just messed up that qualifying entirely, not focusing on where their drivers are on the field, and it was just a complete mess. A hundredth of a second doesn't matter if you're in this situation. Put enough of a gap between each other and just go for it in clean air. Gatkowski in 6th, his teammate hasn't set a lap time, and that incident between Ogwin and Yossi, by the way, is just a complete joke in my opinion. I managed to cut the latter end of it. Looked like to me Yossi had lost it ever so slightly, managed to snap it back, and Ogwin just basically drove into him. It might be my internet because I did see some massive lag for Gatkowski earlier as well, but to me it looked like Ogwin just drove into him. I'm surprised he's not out.
Yeah, it's a shame to zoom in F7R, especially toward the top end of the field. You would know that they're better. I mean, the crash halfway down the straight. It's not as if the crash coming through Ascari. It's because he's crashed coming halfway down the straight. That's going to be the main talking point, I think, where they've actually located each other out on track. Apologies by a little bit of lag going on right now. On my hopefully everything is going to kick back into play very soon indeed. There we are. It should be fine now. Cameron Dowd down on top of the ball, second. Matteo there in 3rd. Matteo feels like he can't get another lap time in. I don't blame him. I think everybody should retire in the pit lane. It should be Cameron Dowd out on top at the end of the session. Igor Jelin, though, wants to try and get a lap time on. Ogwin wants to try and get a lap time on. And comparing him, Igor Jelin, I think, with these conditions deteriorating ever more here in Q3, Igor Jelin and Ogwin, now that they're out on an outlap, they're going to have to try and get another run. They're finding the worst of the conditions now. The rain is intensifying out on track, but it's still not wetting the track enough.
Yeah, no, definitely not. We're nowhere near intermediate tyre conditions at the moment, but the dry line is really starting to fade away now. So I have a feeling that we're going to be probably close to intermediates very soon. Oh, a couple of bites of the cherry going through turn 1 for Igor Jelen. He's struggling out there at the moment here. We've been looking to try and beat his teammates, and ironically, hindering his teammate on the last lap, or actually gave him the opportunity potentially to have a go at this one. But I think the track is deteriorating.
Oh, wow.
It might not be improving. 26.8, not too bad in the first sector considering the conditions, but he's definitely on the pace.
Really neat though, coming through the chicane. This is looking better than Allison's lap, I've got to be honest here, from Igor Jelen. Now coming through Lesmo 1, now in towards Lesmo 2. There's a McLaren getting out the way on the right-hand side. We're on the F7R drivers, Louis Valentine, I think that is. Igor Jelen now coming down the Covered El Serralio in towards turns 8, 9 and 10. Oh, yeah, it is a Covered El Serralio, isn't it? I think I'm getting that right. 54.3 though in the middle second from Igor Jelen. Nice and negotiated on the curve through turn 8, now through 9, now to the left-hand of turn number 10 at the end of Ascari, and now up the hill in towards the slight rise at turn number 11 at Parabolica. It is Cameron Dowds out on top, it's Gabor second, Mateo there in third, and I bet you they're probably going to stay that way as well during this session as Igor Jelen now comes through the final corner. Is Paul Power going to carry him on the run to the line in the French car? Igor Jelen on the run to the line. Conditions of T rating definitely only goes 8th fastest, and Ogween may as well not even bother with this lap.
You know what, CPI have missed out big time on this one because I reckon Gatkowski could have been on shout for pole if he was given the space to do so, but they just did not structure that qualifying out at all for Gatkowski. Ogween goes 7th fastest, beats Allison to the line with a 21.3, so definitely a little bit of pace there, but Shizu Ogween has been consistently slower than Cameron Dowds, but not by that much. That is definitely track deterioration at its finest. 4 minutes to go. Plenty of drivers still want to have a go, maybe just test the conditions, or maybe they're just bored and want to drive around.
Well, Kai Pearson is getting a bit of a faint toe when he's purple in the first sector. 26.5 in the first sector from Kai Pearson. He has got Ogween ahead of him for Team Shizu, and he is following him on this lap time. It is going to put him off in terms of the dirty air through the corners. But if he can keep this up, Kai Pearson could be going pole with this lap time as he runs wide there slightly. Now down the curve. Now with the DRS open, he is going to get a big toe down the straight. Ogween is not aware that he's there. Kai Pearson's backing up desperately. He's 800 up in the middle sector. This is now going to cost him through Ascari. Ogween is giving what I can only describe as a fake toe. Now he realises that Kai Pearson's behind him, but that is way too long to get out the way. You should be looking in your rear view mirrors, my friend. Kai Pearson, though, up the hill and toward Parabolic. We'll see what this lap time is going to be from him. He's run wide, coming through Parabolic, and now fighting the car all the way to the line. McLaren run out of fuel and he's backed off. He knows that I was on board with him on that lap.
No, that was Cameron Dowds, and he was on a fast lap, believe it or not. He was on a fast lap, so he's just unfortunate that Kai Pearson caught up to the back end of the Mercedes, and Cameron Dowds has managed to keep pole as a result of that one. But I think Kai wouldn't have had pole. Yes, he was actually faster than Cameron Dowds in the first sector, really quick. But I don't think he would have been anywhere near pole at the end of this one. Gatkowski not going to be improving either. He's invalidated his lap time. I think he's just going to have to settle for 6th. But we've seen what Gatkowski can do from the 3rd row of the grid.
Yeah, and I think that is it with 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock to go in this WOR Lexi Division Q3 session. I think that is it. That's all the running that we're going to be getting out on track. Just waiting on the MVR boys to retire Gabor and Kai Pearson. But Cameron Dowds is out on top in this session from Gabor there in 2nd, Mateo there in 3rd. I was going to put a prediction in a little bit earlier on and saying Cameron Dowds was going to get pole position. It's a good job I didn't, because I didn't want to put him in the extra pressure on, but he is just that good that he sets pole position anyways without my money being put on him. But Cameron Dowds out on top, Gabor there in 2nd, Mateo there in 3rd. Looks like, though, we are going to get at least one, if not both of the MVR drivers going out for a bit of wet running. It looks like Kai Pearson is the one that is going out first. And you can tell now, visibly out on track, when we get the onboard camera, that the raindrops are now falling on the circuit. They're impacting on that surface, which means he's gone out on a set of soft compounder tyres. He wants a clean run of the cherry. I don't think he's going to get that, though, with a wet line appearing off track, and it's definitely getting heavier.
You know what? I don't want to seem that kind of guy, because what they're doing is totally legal. It's totally fine. But I can hear the other 9 teams' eyes rolling so hard right now. Why have NVR sent their drivers out again when everyone else has retired? Just retire
one of their drivers.
And let us get on with the race. I don't want to be that guy that complains or gets a little bit, you know, angry because of something that people are legally allowed to do. But this makes absolutely 0 sense. And to me, It just seems like NVR are just wanted to use up every minute they can. Everyone else, go and get an ice cream. Go and relax. Go to the toilet and drop the kids off by the pool. You might as well wait for a bit.
You may as well wait for a bit. It's unfortunate because us as commentators, we want to bring you the action out on track. We can't really bring you the action. It's dry tyres on a wet surface pretty much now. You can see visibly on the camera that it's going to be inters in about 30 seconds time. So I'm not sure what Kaya Pearson is doing. Whether it's a time-wasting tactic or not, it's a bit like Sunderland when they were 4-0 down and just time-wasting that waits for the 60-second minute to bring 3 substitutes on. It's a bit like that, but Kaya Pearson is going to give us at least a run on this set of soft compound tyres. Gabor there has still not retired in the pit lane. And I am with the 9 teams that are going to be rolling their eyes right now because I think, honestly, there should be something in the rulebook that prevents this from happening if it is a wet session. It's fully legal within the rules and regulations. Don't get me wrong at the minute, but this is something that I don't want to see. But Kai Pearson coming through the first sector, he is going to be miles down through this first sector split. Look, 2 tenths down through the first sector. He's already going to go beyond that, and everyone's invalid coming to the left-hander anyways. It's just an absolute waste of time. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be that guy, you know, complaining about things that people are allowed to do, but do I say that? Oh yeah, I'll say it. You know,
go on.
It's only one team that's doing this.
Yeah.
So
if it was
to me, this is absolutely team tactics, and they're trying to waste as much time as possible to keep people off their game while they have got time on circuit that they're absolutely allowed to use. But what time are you going to get using the car on this circuit? Because the track is going to be completely different come the race. It makes no sense whatsoever to me. I don't know. I'm just going to shut up before I say something I regret, because it's ridiculous in my opinion.
It is. Well, Kai Pearson's coming through the final corner anyways. I think bails into the pit lane, which he doesn't. He actually comes to the line. He's not going to waste any more time. He comes to the line. He was down in his lap time anyway. What an absolute joke of a lap time that was. But he goes 4th fastest in the end. And that was all down to a one qualifying session, a one-shot qualifying session, really, in where we saw the one-shot qualifiers come to the fore. It was Cameron Dowds, the man out on top for Team Shazoo. Gabor there in 2nd for NVR. Mateo there in 3rd for EC8. Going to be interesting to see how he gets on, considering his comments earlier on, which I'll come on to after the intermission. Kai Pearson there in 4th. Louis Valentin there in 5th. And Gatkowski there in 6th. Ogween there in 7th. Allison there in 8th. Igor Jelen there in 9th, the second down off the pace, and Yossi couldn't even get a lap time in, unfortunately, for F7R down at the back of the field after his collision with Ogween. But Cameron Dowds out on top, the ball alongside him on the front row of the grid. We're going to go for our intermission break. We'll have a word from our sponsors, Next Level Racing and Grid Finder. We'll be back on the other side. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for round number 10 of the championship. It's the Italian Grand Prix. We'll better get going out on track. Let's have a reminder, though, of the standings coming into tonight before we get the lights green. Team Chazoo out on top on 380 points. Novus Racing, after their tomfoolery in qualifying, in second on 365. F7R in third on 325, with ET8 in fourth on 295. NLR there in fifth on 204. TTM there in sixth on 146. Then Team TF10 in seventh on 135. Bunga Racing Team on 130. CPI on 102. And then L Plan in 10th on 63. They will definitely try and have an L Plan here tonight in Italy. Myself, James Head, Joshua alongside me in the commentary box. I mean, not so nice comments in the intermission. I don't care. We're here to do one job and one job only, and that's to commentate on 20 cars going around out on track. Team Chazoo out on top, Novus Racing alongside them on the front row of the grid, quite literally, and it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's Crying and Waffling with you for tonight for this particular race. It's going to be an absolute blinder, actually. I'm looking forward to this because the Grand Prix at the Temple of Speed always brings, I think, a little bit of a feisty affair, I think, out there at the moment. Cameron Dowd's on pole for Chazoo, though. I think it's exactly what Chazoo need at the moment to try and defend 15 points between them and NVR, with Gabba in second. Of course, Kai Pearson down in fourth. So they are looking to try and work with each other a little bit. We saw this actually throughout the season. NVR have been really working quite well with each other to get somewhere, but unfortunately they are separated by that one spot because ET8's Mateo separating the pair on the second row of the grid. I'm looking forward to seeing what Louis Valentine's got from fifth, though, and of course, never discredit Gatkowski. He had a really poor Q3, actually. I think the team didn't quite get it right for CPI, but Gatkowski has got the temperament, I think, to potentially win this one tonight. So I'm looking forward especially to what the midfield have got as well. I'm always as well looking forward to seeing what NLR have got, because they're in 16th and 17th. You'd say that they were perhaps a little bit unlucky in Q1, to be fair. I think there is a little bit more pace to be found in the NLR boys tonight, so I think there's something to look forward to there. And of course, never ever take any credit away from Raphael as well for EPL. From 15th, he might be one to watch as well. Mixture of tyres out there as well, with medium, softs and hards all around the board. I would expect, though, we should be on medium hard today.
Medium hard, yeah, I'm maybe thinking softs mediums in terms of a strategy. Might be the quicker one to go for. Medium softs could be an item. In fact, let's just put it this way, all three tyres are going to be used out on track at some point in this race. Absolutely guaranteed. Get your predictions, though, in the chat. Who you think's going to win this race? I'm immediately going to drop a bombshell and go Mateo for the race win. I think he might just have the nerve to try and hold. He said if his life depends on it, he'll try and get lap time. He'll die to try and get lap time around here in Italy. That's what he said on social media. Let's hope he doesn't die in this race, and let's hope, I think, he is my man for pole position. Although I predicted him last night, and look what happened. Cameron Dowd's won.
Yeah, I think he's actually a bit of a dark horse. Going into turn one, he might have a little bit of pace up his sleeve with that toe going into turn one. So don't discredit Mateo. But, you know, I can't discredit the likes of Gabba, because I think he's definitely got the tenacity to get towards the front. Him initially starting on the softs, apparently, as well. Kai Pearson doing similarly for Novus. Keeping a firm eye, though, on Gatkowski for me, because I think that that car and him have got such a unique bond in the platform at the moment, and I think Gatkowski is definitely going to be one to watch throughout next game cycle as well. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Gatkowski for the win, purely because I'd love to see CPI get their second.
Add my FUT there in the chat saying K-Gas wins always. I'm not sure if he means Kvyat, maybe. Kvyat didn't even win a race in Formula 1 when he was around, to be honest. But Gatkowski, I think, is who he's on about. Yeah, Gatkowski's got a really good chance, I think. If he can keep his nose clean in the early scrimmages within this race, here we go. 5 red lights about to go out, though, in Legacy Division, round 10 of the championship before the break week. And it is lights out, away we go. Cameron Dowd's got a better start compared to Gabor. So does Mateo. Mateo's going to be right there down in towards turn number 1. On the back of both. Cameron Dowd will lead down in towards turn number 1 on a set of soft compounded tyres. Gabor tries to find to the inside on Mateo. Mateo also on that set of softs. There's a spinner in the background. Louis Valentine, I think, got contacted there, maybe either by Gatkowski or by Kai Pearson. One of the two spun around Louis Valentine now, right down at the back end of the field. Gabor and Mateo are fighting side by side as they come through Cover Grande for the first time. Cameron Dowd's lead, but there comes Gabor to the inside line. Camera work shoddy, but there we go. To the inside line. Gabor gets the race lead very hard in the background. Gatkowski forced into the gravel. Kai Pearson already maybe contacting Louis Valentine. Certainly nearly made a bit of contact there, Gatkowski. Gabor leads at the end of the first half a lap. Cameron Dowd in second, Matteo there in third, and they're storming up the road early on, all being pretty much on a set of soft compound tyres.
Yeah, Kai Pearson there as Matteo making the inroads then on Cameron Dowd. That lower downforce setup working a treat, might be able to put Gabba under some pressure as well for P1 there. Gatkowski finding his inner Max Verstappen, wearing Max Verstappen's helmet as well by forcing Gatkowski, and now all the way down in 8th, obviously struggling to clear the dirt off the tyres at the moment, and actually at risk of being overtaken by his teammate Igor Jelen for 8th.
Yeah, definitely so. Marlon through on Wiener further down the field as well. The ETA man on a set of hard compound tyres. Justin on a set of hard compound tyres. They're going to be dropping down like a stone through the field. Here comes Matteo, though, the Italian stallion on the back of turn number 1 on the Aston Martin. Easy as you like from Matteo. Cuts across an NVR Gabor. That might just be a little bit of retribution from what he said early on in the chat, but Matteo leads the way from Gabor in second. Cameron Dowd's there in third. And early on, Matteo has got the real stranglehold on things as Raphael has been spun off, I think, in the background. Belby and Marlon are fighting side by side as they come through Cover Grande there as well. EPL and NLR going to be fighting for positions. Looking to the outside line, Belby on Joe Murphy. Marlon keeps his nose clean. He keeps out of that. But Matteo leads the way. The Italian leads in his home Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of this race now. People have just started to find their little bit of a rhythm in this race now, and we're getting into this one. DRS will be available at the end of this lap, and of course that will be available on this stretch of the race here as the Kai Pearson makes his inroads, then to make an easy overtake on Cameron Dowd. Of course, that overtake needs to be done. They're on the inverse strategy. Cameron Dowd's electing to start on the mediums. He's matching the likes of Yossi, who's had a blinder of a start actually in 5th, with Ogwin in 6th. So it's a good opportunity for those on the medium tyres. And Yossi, I think, has just welcomed himself to a potential race win all of a sudden, with 5 positions gained, starting from 10 up to 5th on a set of mediums. F7R looking fairly sharp with one of their drivers, but once again the other one down at the back.
And Kai Pearson now looking on the back of Gabor, but Gabor easily going to put the car to the inside line, maybe on Matteo down in towards turn number 1, but I think everyone's just going to hold fire for now. Nobody's going to go for these moves down in towards turn number 1. Speaking of moves, though, further down the field, Wiener and Justin are side by side once again. NLR against ETA this time. The ETA man, very forceful there on the set of hard combat tyres. Plus is Justin out wide. Louis Valentine says, thank you very much. The F7R man through these into 18th, and now hunts around the outside of Curva Grande on the back of Wiener. This is going to be like taking candy from an Aston Martin baby. Coming in towards turn number 4, Louis Valentine through, and he's into 17th. And from being spun out early on, either by Kai Pearson or Gatkowski, he definitely got contacted by somebody in behind him. Louis Valentine in 17th. He's still within that DRS train, which is crucial.
Matteo still leading from the front though in the Aston Martin, with NVR Gabba closing down the gap now, of course, with that DRS now enabled. I'm wondering whether the NVR boys are now going to consider just hanging back, or are they going to start making some early inroads here, because of course they want to try and put a gap on the medium tyre runners. Otherwise, when it comes to the second stint, they're only going to lose out on time here, and electing to just get off of the throttle pedal ever so slightly will Gabba, because of course he wants the DRS on Matteo, which he will now get. He uses overtake, and I think an overtake is going to be inevitable with Gabba DRS open, overtake being used, and it will be a double overtake as Novus Racing get both of their drivers through to 1 and 2. Matteo will just remain a sitting duck, and Gabba will retake the lead.
And here comes the pole of Gatkowski to the inside line. Around the outside of Allison. Surely not. What a switch this is from the pole, but he can't manage to move, and Marlon's had to come take the escape road there on the left-hand side, and might have a little bit of damage potential on that left side end plate as well. He's got a 5-second penalty. That goes from bad to worse for Marlon. I think he might have left side end plate damage on that car as well. Igor Jelen now getting in the mix on the back of his teammate, running in toward the Delarod chicane at turns 4 and 5. But that was nicely done, actually, by MVR. Gabor there and Kai Pearson immediately had a strategy in mind. That strategy is Marlon again has spun coming through the Louis Valentine has spun coming through the Delarod chicane. Gabor and Kai Pearson, their plan is now to try and gap Matteo outside of a second. But that's going to be difficult because Cameron Dowd is there on a set of mediums, and he's within 0.3 of a second on the back. So NVR will have a control of this race, but Matteo and Cameron Dowd, we know how Cameron Dowd is good in terms of his ERS management. And speaking of which, we'll have a look at now the ERS management. Already 98% for Cameron Dowd, 90% for Matteo, 69% for Kai Pearson. So already Matteo and Cameron Dowd's ERS management crucial around this track, and they're getting the upper hand early on.
Now, Matteo would be wise, actually, to not overtake these two and just stick within touching distance. We'll see if Kai decides to switch positions, and will NVR decide to do so. They will, but Matteo is going to look for the overtake and try and get the double on the pair of them. Kai will break later around the outside line. Gabba struggled going through turn one in this one, actually caused Kai to get off of the throttle, and there was a slight touch on the rear end at the previous lap with Matteo, and it didn't cause any damage at all. But the NVR boys are now split, and that is now not the racing strategy NVR need at the moment, but it's going to be very difficult to employ a boxing strategy on a long straight with such a wide track. So going to be difficult to see how NVR are going to use their typical tactics that we've seen throughout this tournament.
I think if you don't want to do not disjudge NVR by what they do in terms of team tactics. Sometimes they get it absolutely spot on, and I think it's going to be one of these occasions where NVR will try and get it spot on. They've got Cameron Dowds there down and fourth. He's just off the back of Gabor slightly, obviously running much lower wings through the corners than he is down the straights. Gabor there closing in on the back of the tail, not using up any battery. But it is going to be all down to this ERS, DRS usage down and towards turn number one. That is really going to affect, I think, the drivers. The ball there on the back of Matteo. Matteo now on the back of Kai Pearson. If I was in Matteo's shoes right now, I wouldn't attempt to move. I'd try and let the ball back through, have NVR 1-2, and then try and forge a relationship with Cameron Dowds and Yossi in behind, and then try and get them maybe into making a mistake. Down in towards turn number one, I don't think Matteo might listen to this because the closing speed is so volatile down the straight. Matteo is actually going to listen to me. I don't think he's going to go for the moving towards turn number one. No, he doesn't. He's going to try and box Gabor in. Gabor, well and truly, going to be finding that move maybe later on in the lap. Kai Pearson leads Matteo second, Gabor there in third. Nicely done, I've got to say, from the Italian.
Yeah, very well managed, actually. They're almost employing a little bit of an NVR tactic, actually, in that exactly that boxing strategy that we've seen from NVR, which has been ruthless. Let's make it clear. It's a cracking little strategy between the pair of them. But unfortunately, not working so well at the moment for them. But I'm just keeping an eye out, by the way, as regards to the ERS, which I think is pretty fun in this one here. All of them have got nothing to worry about. But what I'm finding curious at the moment is Cameron Dowds and Matteo are on such a gentle harvest at the moment. They're on 100% ERS. Going out of Les Mode 2, while the NVR boys are sort of hovering around 75-80%. So, yes, the NVR boys have got plenty of ERS at their disposal, but 15 to 20% difference is make or breaker when it comes to the attacking scenario if they need it. So, interesting here. I'm going to keep an eye out on that.
And Cameron Dowds is going to have to get up Gabor's rear end very soon because Gabor looked very slow coming out of Ascari. Cameron Dowds was so much quicker. He is running much lower wings, it seems, compared to these. And look, he's now through the inside line, maybe into the final corner. He thinks about a move, but he is such a good harvester of DRS, is Cameron Dowds. He is probably one of the best, if not the best, on console right now. As Matteo's going to go for the move on Kai Pearson. Is Gabor going to try and follow through? Could be a boxing effect as well, but there goes Yossi to the outside line. Where on earth he come from? To the inside line, in towards turn number one. F7R Yossi puts a spoiler in the NVR party. Yossi through and he's into third, but he's fighting with Gabor. Gabor gets the slipstream, coming through Curva Grande. Kai Pearson now trying to push Yossi off on the grass. Gabor there trying to fight on the outside line. Yossi still wanting to go for the inside line. 3 into 1, definitely doesn't go, and that's going to end in tears. Yossi's been spun. Kai Pearson's been spun as well. Nearly losing control of the track. That's a reset to track as well for Yossi. NVR had everything going, I think, for them. 3 into 1 doesn't go, let alone 2 into 1 doesn't go through that corner.
Oh, no, come on. I mean, what's happened there is as a bunch of drivers obviously thinking that they've got the space to do something like that is not going to work. And now that is just...
Oh, Marlon's out.
And Marlon has crashed the second Lesmo, and the safety car has now come out. So those that are on the medium tyre will be angry at the moment because they could have gone on the soft and possibly moved over to a hard tyre to the end of this race. Mediums could potentially go the distance if they're very careful, I suppose. But they, of course, those on the mediums can't now go on to the mediums without needing to pit again. So this is a question now of what is the strategy call. Surely hard tyres going on for Matteo, Gabba. Cameron Dowds, Ogween, could they extend the stint in the hope that another safety car happens on the safety car restart? I wonder. We'll see. What are they going to come in now? They are going to come in on the medium tyre runners as well, so there's surely going to be hard tyres waiting for them, that's for certain. Gankowski, Igor Jelen both in as well, 7th and 8th respectively. While this is all happening, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be a hero in this one, and they're all coming in.
Well, I feel sorry, actually, for Wiener and Justin further down the field. They're on a set of hard Campana tyres. They're going to have to go for a set of mediums of 20 laps, which is going to be very difficult to actually go. But then again, looking throughout the field, there's a bit of a mix. Joe Murphy, Tudi, Gatkowski, Allison, more crucially, on a set of medium Campana tyres. Wiener's gaining a lot of positions as a result of double stacks going on up and down the field. F7R have been absolutely royally done by that. In the end, Louis Valentine, they're down in 19, gets a double stack. Yossi, you've got to feel sorry for him. Him down in towards turn number 1, was just expecting, yeah, I'm going to have a nice fight with Gabor, go around the outside of turn number 1, get him done through Curva Grande. But in the end, Kai Pearson very aggressively moving across on his racing line, down in towards turn number 3 and 4, into the Delaware chicane, caused that incident for me personally. I'm not trying to put blame on MVR. The stewards, of course, will have a look at it, but my personal opinion, Yossi went for the gap up the inside line. The ball was on the outside. Kai Pearson was sandwiched pretty much right in the middle. 3 into 1 doesn't go. Might be classed as a racing incident. Might be classed more fault than MVR. Stewards will definitely, though, have a look at that one. And again, I'm not putting blame on MVR. Judging by the unbiased commentator comments up we got earlier on, we're definitely not that because Matteo leads Gabor second, Cameron's out in third.
No, I was on board with High at the point of that crash actually happening, and to be fair to him, he tried to put the power down as quickly as he possibly could, lost the rear ever so slightly, turned left, and ended up spinning out Yossi in the process. So, you know, it wasn't purposeful, it wasn't it was a total accident between drivers who obviously were really desperate for some, you know, overtaking. But I think what happened with Yossi is that he was getting squeezed onto the grass, and I think he just wanted that overtake done because he knew it was going to be difficult to make any further progress if that overtake didn't occur. So I can see why Yossi went for it. Was it a good idea? Maybe not, but we'll let the stewards decide on that one because, again, we're unbiased commentators, James, aren't we? Top 3 on hard tyres with Allison in 4th and on the medium. Suddenly, an opportunity opening up for top-tier motorsport with Allison, actually. But will he be able to get those medium tyres to the end? Going to be a tricky one, I'm going to say the least on that one. Kai Pearson on the hard, of course, he'll be looking to try and earn the positions back that he lost in that collision with Yossi earlier on. And, of course, never discredit Gatkowski on the medium tyre as well.
Justin's in for a set of mediums, Yossi on a set of hard compound tyres. Louis Valentine will gain both positions as a result. This is going to be interesting because it looks like Justin's going back onto a set of hards, where Yossi is inverting the strategy and he's going on a set of mediums. So that's very, very strange. Obviously, Yossi feels confident in himself that he's going to get to the end. My fear, though, is, judging by how we've had the first 9 laps of this race so far, everything is going to get pretty aggressive, I think, in terms of the racing. I would not be surprised if we get another safety car around this race. I would not be surprised if we get disrupted during this race either by that period. But Matteo leads the way, Gabor second, Cameron's out in third. Those guys in a set of hard compound tyres are going to be very vulnerable to the man there in 4th and Allison. Allison, we know, 2-time F1 Esports Challengers man, 2-time F1 Esports Pro Exhibition man as well. So he has got plenty of experience. Kai Pearson in behind, race clutch driver currently, of course, current championship leader in WOR Console Tier 1. Plenty of experience on his side as well with regards to F1 Esports. And there, him and Allison are going to have to try and work together. Allison will have the better tyres. Kai Pearson there in 5th. I think Allison's going to get the jump on the front 3, maybe go for the moving towards turn 1, and if he's in the lead, do you know what? You may as well just try to obliterate that throttle, obliterate the ERS, and go for broke, because you never know where it might end up.
Oh, Yossi, that is dirty what he's doing at the moment. He's trail-breaking at the back of the queue to try and let the safety car period be elongated at this one. It'd be funny now if this ends up being called in right at the last second. We'll see as he now joins at the back of the queue. Will the safety car be called in, or we're going to be behind the safety car for another lap? Oh, it has been called in. So that tactic not working at all for Yossi, unless he wanted to leave it last minute.
Oh,
Matteo is going to lead from the front on potentially cold tyres. So this is going to make for a very interesting one, and he is going to go straight away as we go green again here in Monza.
And that is a big start. That's a really quick green flag, and it's caught drivers out further down the field. Looks like BRT, Finn and Enzo are going to get in a fight further down the field. Everyone on that set of cold tyres. Allison to the inside line, though, on Cameron Dowds. Tries to go for the move, doesn't manage the move. Joe Murphy, though, does on Ogwe. Easily done by the Brit. Throoney's into 7th on his fellow countryman. 2D now going to be on the back of him, down through Curva Grande, through the right-hand turn number 3. Might be on the inside line. Are we going to see 3 into 1 doesn't go this time around? 2D on the back of Ogwe. Not going to get the move done. 2D backs off, and Ogwe nearly ran into the back there. Joe Murphy in terms of that battle as well. Enzo through on Finn, coming through the Delaware chicane. Not enough overtaking opportunity through there. Just come to show you can go side by side through there. Enzo through and he's into 14th. Finn there down in 15th. But Matteo there leads the way. Gabor there in 2nd. Cameron's out in 3rd. And exactly what I thought might happen hasn't happened.
Well, very curiously, though, there's some good racing happening between Enzo, Finn, and Justin at the moment. Really good racing here as Finn will go to the inside, go back to the outside, blocked twice by Enzo. You'd argue potentially 2 moves under braking from the Red Bull. And not the first time we've heard that one either. As Enzo is looking really sharp here and is actually trying to cut the toe in this one. But Justin has got such a lower downforce setup in comparison. And he welcomes himself up to 15th in the final points position. And then that collision, ever so slightly, not going to cause any too much.
Here's Cammy Dowds.
Will get himself into this battle as well, as Cameron Dowds is looking to make that move then. Here comes Gabba as well, looking to make a move then on Matteo. NVR retaking the lead.
And Matteo doesn't want to get involved in that fight. He knows what happened earlier on in the race. He's going to take it very, very cautiously now. And to be fair, on a set of cold tyres still on that set of hard, probably the best thing to do so is Cameron Dowds and Matteo. I thought we were going to go side by side. I was getting excited in my seat for a minute there. I thought we were going to see finally the battle I've been really hoping and waiting for as Allison very late on the brakes there. Into the Delarue chicane. Really catches the back of Cameron Dowds. Everyone in terms of ERS though looking very, very strong so far. Gabor is on 81. Matteo on 78. Cameron Dowds on 73. Allison there on 70. Cameron Dowds, though, I guarantee you next lap around, he'll have more ERS than everyone else around him. Is he going to go for the move on the back of Matteo, or is he just getting closer? I think he's actually trying to defend up Allison, who is right there, although right in towards Ascari. Can't find the move through the TTM and remains in fourth.
I'm going to put a bold bet on now. Let's say lap 21, safety car 2. That's what I reckon is going to happen. I think people have found a little bit of a settling pace. But of course, as they get towards the end of their stint on the medium tyre, assuming they can't go to the end, I would expect people have started to get a little bit rowdy. Maybe the medium tyre runners will start to struggle. So I reckon lap 21 on this one here. Cameron Dowds looking to make an overtake though. Getting a slight toe then from Gabba. No DRS.
Look at Allison.
But it will be on the next one. As Allison also trying to get
no way.
It's so far to the inside line. Is Allison as they go 3 wide going into turn 1. Allison breaks early and makes better of it. Goes for a switchback though, but he's completely locked off. Matteo stays in second, but he is going to get third though. Is Allison on these medium tyres? He needs to get these inroads early. Does the medium tyre runner? Cameron Downs is trying to defend for his life, but he's just going to have to concede it. Allison, is he going to look for the double overtake maybe going into the next corner? He will not. He stays in third.
Yeah, really good racing, I've got to say. Really good spatial awareness between Matteo and Cameron Dowds coming out the corner. Yes, Cameron Dowds lost the traction coming out of the corner. That's why Allison got the move done. Well, that was really good driving by all of them in that period. And Kai Pearson was there, really chomping at the bit, thinking, go on, make a little bit of contact, make a little bit of a move, and then I can come through on both of you. And he's there in 5th position, really hunting now on the back of Cameron Dowds. But look at Allison now. Here's ERS. Kai Pearson to the inside line. Cameron Dowds gets the job done in towards Ascari. Allison's ERS, though, 25% of ERS. Matteo's got 73. Gabor's on 60. Allison has used all of that up for one move. TTM and his ERS management is definitely in trouble.
Yeah, that's going to cost him on the straights, isn't it? 20%, the engine will start using less energy, which means, of course, you'll be down on power. He'll have full power now for the next 5%. As soon as he gets into turn 1, I think he'll start to realise, I'm really down on power. He's using overtake, though, so he is keen to try and defend here from Kai Pearson. Surely he's going to go to the inside, though, is Allison. Is Allison going to defend from it? He's not. Kai Pearson's going to go side by side with him. Allison's got the traction on the inside, though. Kai Pearson will stay in fourth, but Allison is going to be really down on power.
Oh, and there's an escape road being taken there by Louis Valentine, I think, in the background. I think him and Tootie may have came into blows there, potentially, in terms of battle further down the field. Side by side with Kai Pearson and Allison. 2 and 2 on does go, apparently, for the NVR, man. He's into third. Allison there in fourth. Nicely done there. And that was all at cost for Allison. 13% of ERS. Kai Pearson's on 37. The front two had an opportunity there. Gabor and Matteo. I know Gabor's out in front, so it probably wouldn't have happened. But they could have had an opportunity to escape up the road, and Kai Pearson wouldn't have been there to really save grace with his ERS. Cameron Dowds now on the back of Allison, running down the straight in towards turn number 8. He's not going to get the job done this time around. Halfway through, it has literally flown through this race, even though we've had a safety car. Gabor leads the way. Matteo there in second. Kai Pearson third. Then Allison. Cameron Dowds top 5. Gatkowski, Joe Murphy, Igor Jellan, Placky, Ogween top 10. Enzo, Justin, Belby, Tootie, Yossi, the 15 drivers currently in points. Then it's Wiener, Louis Valentine after his spin earlier on, Finn and Raphael, 18th and 19th. My name is James Head. Jota alongside me in the come trucks, and Cameron Dowds is now going to shut me up because he's going to go for the move down in towards turn number 1. And the Flying Scotsman 2.0 is in full effect down the straight, and the Mercedes man through, and he's into 4th, and he shuts the door on Allison.
Now, I would have dived it there because actually you could have seen the rear light is blinking aggressively at the moment for that Shazoo driver. Down to 5% ERS going into turn 1 is Cameron Downs at the moment. So Cameron Downs and Allison are both in the same problem at the moment in that they've used up a lot of their ERS battling with other drivers. So you're going to start to see them, I think, begin to fall in a bit of a gap between first and third. And that might even welcome Gatkowski into the mix and see if it would be wise to tell Gatkowski, time to make some inroads, get past these guys because you need to remain in DRS on Kai.
I think Placky and Igor Jelen were side by side there in the background. Igor Jelen had to take the escape road on the right-hand side. Yossi and Bell Belby are side by side. Coming through Les Mode 2. Never see an opportunity around there, but Yossi's took it. He's into 13th, and here comes Tootie down the straight as well. In towards turn number 8 at Ascari, and Tootie not around the outside of Ascari. He does! Tootie round the outside. Bell Belby cannot fight on those tyres. The Cellar not coming into play from there. EPL man is going to try and fight with this, but it is Tootie. Tootie's into 14th. Nice move, despite the contact on the exit of the corner.
I think, you know what, I think Bell Belby would be wise to screenshot that, take a recording and send it to the stewards. Judy left the track in order to complete that overtake, so I think TF10 may have to give that position back here. We'll see then as Mateo has managed to retake the lead here, and Kai Pearson goes down to second with Gabba in third. Bell Belby has retired, and the safety car is out for the second time. I called lap 21, turns out it's lap 15. Question is, what do people do?
And I think Louis Valentine got a penalty with Tootie, but I think that... and there's front wing damage from Wiener. Left side end plate damage on the car. Louis Valentine slowed him up enough to try. I'm not sure if he was in AI mode potentially there, Louis Valentine. But I was about to say, Bell Belby out down the straight. Halfway down the straight they have crashed. Nearly into the braking zone at turn number 1. I think it might have been with either BRT Finn or his own teammate. And if it is with his own teammate, EPL are going to have a rotten bit of egg, quite literally, a bit of chocolate egg, I think, on their faces with that if it was them. As I say, I was very late to that, but it looked like to me, judging by how they were out on track, I think both Hasses may have collided halfway down the straight in towards turn number 1. Mateo still leads the way, Kai Pearson second, Gabor there in third. But it's unfortunate, as Bell Belby out of the race. I have a feeling it was either his own teammate or either BRT Finn. One of the two, I think that made contact with him. I can't be so sure on that, though.
Belated Easter, by the way, on that one, actually, as they mentioned about the eggs as well. So, yeah, safety car period now, so people are going to be coming in. Surely a set of medium tyres for the majority of the teams out there. Some may risk a soft. It will go 10 laps for the soft tyre, but they'll have to do a little bit of conservative nature, perhaps at the start of their stint.
Oh, my God!
Pearson very late on the brakes there for that one as well. And in that situation with Raphael Bell Belby, the worst thing you could possibly call yourself if you've collided with your own teammate is L Plan Racing Team in that scenario, because I can already see the memes sort of developing in that one. While this is all happening, by the way, one driver has decided they're going to be a hero. TF10 Tootie is elected to stay out, and he will stay on a set of 8-lap-old medium tyres that will go the distance now as a result of the safety car period. The majority of people are going out on the mediums, but Shazoo have decided to make a call on Cameron Downs, and he is now on the softs.
7 drivers on the set of soft compound tyre. Them are the ones that actually saved a set of compound within qualifying and can use that set of softs to the end of the race. Cameron Downs being one of them. Kai Pearson, that final run on a wet track in Q3, not really coming back to bite them, I've got to be honest there. Certainly for Kai, I think karma is certainly you-know-what, but Kai Pearson there in third, Cameron Downs in fourth. All being serious, though, he hasn't got a fresh set of soft compound tyres, which is why he's got on the set of mediums. They could be the better tyre towards the end of the race. Do not get me wrong. They could be the better tyres towards the end of the race. Cameron Downs is going to have to rely on everything that he has learned in league racing to try and get those softs to the end of the race. Softs, I have it around here, around about 5.5% per lap. So if that is the case, these tyres are going to get shot from about lap 8, lap 9 into their stint, which will be around about lap 23, 24 if we were to get racing this time around, but we're not. But Cameron Downs, though, regardless, Jota, I think is going to be in a slight bit of trouble if he can't get these moves made on the front 3 ahead of him.
Yeah, forgive me for my laughter, by the way. I know your tone, and I can know that you were saying that with a smile behind your eye, behind your face in that one. Just as a context for folks, by the way, there's been a bit of a row in the paddock chat at the moment where people were a bit unhappy with the fact that we were calling out NVR for wasting time in this one. They claimed that they wanted to spend that time to actually, find the pole position, but think everyone knew, unlike NVR, that wasn't going to happen with the track deterioration. Anyway, that's by the by. Tudy is in. He's decided that he doesn't want to double stack some reason with his teammate and have lost more time being behind the safety car on the lap around. So TF10 Tudy will therefore be right at the back of the grid. FCR Louis, drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car. So that's Louis being a bit lackadaisical there. And so I think F7R's race, because race is going from bad to worse. Yoze, curiously though, up to 8th though. So sacrificing one of the drivers, but Louis, I think, doing it on his own accord. Matteo leading from the front from Kai Pearson, and then the soft tyre runner of Cameron Downs. Keep an eye on that Shazoo driver. He's going to be rapid. That's
a weird one, actually, for Louis Valentine, because he actually got that picked up beyond the start-finish, or just about on the start-finish line, down in towards turn 1. So F7R might have a case there that I know it's a drive-through, he's going to have to serve it out on track. But could he then get the time added back on to him to where he would have been at the end of the race? It's all very complicated. I'm not sure about the rules and regulations. But Louis Valentine speeding under the safety car, that was all down to Delta time. Obviously, the Delta time from him was in the negative, was in the red. That's why he's picking up the drive-through penalty. He's down in 17th position. That is not going to be good news at all for F7R. Considering Rennes won last week, it's now a fall from grace, quite literally, for Louis Valentine on his return here to console. But Matteo now, virtual Bird Malander. He's now the virtual safety car. I'm very excited for this race stop because we've got Kai Pearson in 2nd, Cameron Dowds there in 3rd. 3 of the top guys on console right now, about to do battle, going on to lap 18 into the final third of the race here in Monza. I'm excited. Get on the edge of your seats. We're going to enter the wacky races period. But Matteo leads, Kai Pearson 2nd, Cameron Dowds in 3rd, underneath this restart. When will the Italian man go? I think halfway through the corner, at the final corner here at Parabolica. That's where I would personally go. He's just trying to ramp up the pace slightly, coming through the exit of Parabolica. Now on the run toward the line, and now he goes halfway through the corner and nearly slides coming out the corner. Cameron Dowds, though, has got a phenomenal start on the back of Kai, and Kai is now going to hunt down on the back of the Italian. And now this is going to be a race, a drag down in towards turn number 1. Kai Pearson are looking to the inside line on the back of Matteo for the race lead. Eases to the inside line. Beautiful move by Kai Pearson. Throonies into the lead. Matteo there in 2nd, Cameron Dowds in 3rd, and Jota, that's why he's currently leading the console Tier 1 standings.
Yeah, Matteo, though, is very happy to just chill in behind Kai Pearson in order to get the DRS and just maintain his own race, and then, of course, make the overtake on the last lap. The only issue is he's got a very fast Shazoo driving Cameron Dowds on the softest compound of tyre right behind him. So if he loses too much time, Cameron Dowds will be very happy to make the overtake, and he's losing a little bit of time. He's had a poor restart, actually, as Matteo in this one, but he's just going to keep up the pressure if he can and stay within touching distance. Otherwise, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Cameron Dowds is flying around Lesmo on. He's not even using any of his ERS at the moment.
He's got to.
Pure mechanical grip out there. Surely got to go for the move on this occasion.
Why?
No, he stays behind and keeps Matteo under pressure. The DRS train is then going to start from 2nd as it stands, with Kai Pearson already breaking a 2nd.
Oh, and Justin's involved in an incident coming through Ascari. I think he's been stunned maybe by Wiener or Tudi further down the field. Not sure who caught up in that one. But Kai Pearson's up the road. 1.1 seconds. Cameron Dowds, I honestly thought should have got the move done at Ascari. He's waited, though, and waited. And now he's going to let loose down the straight. But he's going to have to use all of his ERS to good effect to just try and get back within DRS range. That was poorly managed by Cameron Dowds. It's a bit of a rush move as Finn is losing positions further down the field. He has a half spin, I think, coming through Parabolica. And now they're 2x2 like Noah's Ark in the mid-pack between Ogween, Finn, Wiener and Tudi. Wiener there, sorry, Ogween and Igor Jelen involved in this even. Igor Jelen now to the outside line, trying to find the move back through on Ogween, but Ogween through these into 11th, Igor Jelen in 12th, Wiener 13th, Finn there in 14th, and Finn has lost 3 positions in about as many corners.
Kai Pearson down to 16% ERS going through Lesmo 1. He's been burning his ERS to try and get that DRS gap against Cameron Dowds, but he knows with the soft tyres he's going to end up being so much slower. And now Cameron Dowds with only 40% of his ERS. At one point we'd have thought that's too much. Actually, he's in a better position. Someone at Shazoo needs to tell Cameron Dowds, don't use your ERS, because Kai is going to be losing time, not just in the corners, but on the straights as well.
Definitely so, and Cameron Dowds there in 2nd. He's going to really have to try and hunt on the back of Kai Pearson. It's going to be all, I think, in a bit of vain, to be honest, because Cameron Dowds there in 2nd. Kai Pearson in the lead. Cameron Dowds will be listening to that well-known track from Mrs. Simon. You're so vain. Quite literally, for Cameron Dowds, he's going to have to try and close in because all of this is going to be in vain attempt. But he sets the fastest lap of the race. He's absolutely charging on the back of Kai, and you can see with Kai that red fuel light flashing on the back means he's out of ERS, and he's got 15% down in towards turn number 1. Cameron Dowd's on 32, so he's got double the amount of ERS. So Shazoo are looking pretty, but again, those tyres for Cameron Dowd, he's going to have to use these up to good effect in the next 3 or 4 laps of this race. He's obviously had that period under the safety car. It's going to help him, but he might still struggle to get those tyres to the end of the race. But then again, it's Cameron Dowd. He won last night in Portugal. I'm really not drawing any opinions.
And now here they are, the most daredevil group of daffy drivers to ever will their wheels in the wacky races. They are going to be flying out there at the moment with only 7 laps to go in this race. They'll be pushing to the absolute limit. The nearest driver is with a load of ERS at his disposal at the moment is Allison. He's got the DRS now, and he's got 80% ERS, more than double on Matteo. And of course, Cameron Dowd hovering around about Matteo's ERS pace. Kai is going to be hemorrhaging time in the straights and in the corners. He's going to be pushing so hard, but I can't see how the Novus Racing driver is going to hold on to the lead if Cameron Dowd elects to make the move. Or is he going to just tuck in behind Kai and just maintain his own pace? Will the soft tyres go the distance? 7 laps to go with only 2 laps of racing behind. Ooh, Kai getting a little bit on the gas here. Here he comes then with the overtake available and with the RS.
The Matteo.
Kai Pearson relegated to second. Matteo is going to go around the outside on this occasion and put Kai under pressure. And this is what happens when you burn through.
Oh, nice.
All the RS too quickly, shuts the door on Matteo, and Kai will stay in second, but he's going to be hemorrhaging time once again on the straight
Joe Murphy
and on the corners.
Joe Murphy and Gatkowski get caught on each other coming out of turn number 1 and 2 now through Cover Grande. He's going to be absolutely opened up to Enzo on the outside line. Enzo's surely going to get the job done here on Joe Murphy. He's finished into 9 and now looks to the inside of Placky there in toward the first chicane. Beautiful helicopter cam round the ball with Joe Murphy. It's just a shame that he's fell down so many places while doing that. Cameron Dowd now leads the way. Kai Pearson in second. I think Cameron Dowd had to be forced into that move personally because Kai Pearson was just so slow coming out of Parabolica. Cameron Dowd obviously had that pace, but look at Kai now down the straight. Much quicker in a straight compared to Cameron. Cameron has got all of his wings up to good effect, I think, in terms of his performance, in terms of that setup. It's more of a downforce setup. Kai Pearson relying on a more straight speed setup. There's more straight speed, there's more straights around here than there is corners. So Kai Pearson is definitely not out of this race by any stretch of the imagination. He's the Console Tier 1 champion, the Console Tier 1 leader in the championship. Cameron Dowd, PSGL PSF1 championship second place right now for him. Could be in the championship lead. And then you got then you got Matteo, who's leading the PSGL standings right now in third. What more could you want from a Console's perspective? As there goes Kai to the inside line, trying to find the move, but he can't get bored. Finds the outside line on Yossi, trying to go for the inside now through turn number 2. Yossi on the outside line, nearly gets forced off. They're nearly involved in a bit of contact. They have to go across the grass, and there Joe Murphy makes about as many positions as he's just lost on that last lap. Joe Murphy back there, and he's into 7th. Placky there on the back of Gatkowski. All of that led from, unfortunately, the contact level.
What does Yossi need to do in order to have a good race? Because the guy he's had a really good performance, to be fair to him, but he's just getting in unfortunate collisions, which is just seeing him hemorrhage positions. I think the guy that least deserves the top 5 finish as it stands, but the guy is now down in 9th. Gatkowski up to 5th. He's been burning his ERS, actually, as Gatkowski, to try and remain within touching distance of Allison, who, by the way, has still got 84% ERS, so he's flying out there at the moment. Matteo, by the way, is on a real power save at the moment, now up to 80% himself here. He thinks he's got a real good chance here of potentially winning this race, and with ERS management to that scale and staying within touching distance of the front two, I would say that he is now seriously in contention.
I definitely think so as well. And Matteo there in third. He's got the hopes of me in the commentary box, to be honest, for the race win. I don't think anybody else but ET8 are going to be supporting him. But Matteo on the back of Kai Pearson, Kai on the back of Cameron Dowd. They're just going to hunt on the back now, down in towards turn number 1. Kai is closing in on Cameron Dowd. I don't think, though, he's going to launch a move in towards turn number 1. He's going to hold on that battery. Matteo there in third. It's going to be a Constantino effect, I think, in behind. The ball and Yossi get involved in a bit of contact again. Yossi around the outside. Oh my God! And he's in the wall. Joe Murphy out of the race. Yossi parting of the Red Sea. Safety car deployed, out on track. But Yossi, how on earth that was a parting of the Red Sea? I honestly think Judas would have been happy with that one. Yossi there in 6th. Placky there in 7th. Yossi part of the Red Sea, but at what cost? Joe Murphy in the wall, out of the race, safety car deployed.
Yeah, Yossi was the. You know what? Louis was the only person that could have actually got into the pit lane ahead of the safety car coming out of the pit lane, and he still sped. So unbelievable stuff from Louis. 5-second penalty for him as his race goes from bad to worse, but he will be at the back of the queue at least after serving his drive-through penalty for speeding under the last safety car. Safety car out now. Soft tyres surely going on to the end of this race. The question is, who's willing to double stack is going to be the question here. And I'm looking at it at the moment, and the nearest double stackers, would you believe, after what happened last time, is TTM. So they are in a bit of a tricky scenario, to say the least. Will they commit to the double stack? I wonder. While this is all happening, by the way, Yossi has disconnected. He's back up to 6th place. It'd be wise for him to get back into this lobby as quickly as possible, because F7R are actually in a little bit of a good position here with Louis already pitting. So Yossi could earn big time. Let's see and hope his car does come into the pit lane. Will it do so, or will it stay out?
His AI stays out.
His AI is staying out in this
scenario. Oh, what's his AI doing?
Now take the lead of this race as a result.
His AI was slowing down when everyone was coming in the pit lane as well, so that's going to lose him even more time. And this is going to be, if Yossi can't get back in, perceivably into the session, it's only going to be, what, a 2-lap safety car? Yossi is going to cause, unless his AI comes in the pit lane, this is going to cause absolute carnage. Igor Jelen has stayed out. Justin has stayed out as well. Everyone's on a set of soft compounded tyres. Most of them will be on a U set, however, because they didn't have as much of a compounded tyre left on this set of softs. So might be the case where drivers are on a U set rather than a fresh set. Cameron Dowd's there in 4th, Justin 3rd, Igor Jelen 2nd. Yossi there leading the way, Igor Jelen 2nd, Justin there in 3rd. F7R are going to be crying out to us, you know, now, Jota, because they want Yossi to get back in. His AI might have just pulled off an absolute blinder, but Igor Jelen, Justin, on that set of mediums, this is going to hold Cameron Dowd, Kyle Pearce and Matteo up, so they've got a chance of getting a big result out of this.
2 laps of racing, 2 laps under the safety car on those soft tyres, so we'll say 6 laps, well actually 5 laps actually if you incorporate the safety car, so 5 laps on a set of soft tyre. I wouldn't say that he's, you know, going to fall off a cliff anytime soon, but he's certainly going to be slower than everyone else behind him. The question is whether Igor Jelen and Justin can actually hold on to 2nd and 3rd. So if Yossi can get back in, there is a slight chance he could actually hold the win here, but we'll have to see. Hopefully he can get him in this lobby ASAP in this one here. While this is all happening, by the way, for some reason Louis has stopped at turn 1. So whether or not they're just he's just trying to... very unusual. Yeah. I don't know if he's had a reset to track or something, or he's spun. A bit of an odd one. But he's 46 seconds back, which is going to give Yossi plenty of time to get back in this lobby. I have a feeling the safety car will come in regardless at the end of the 25th lap, which is now for Louis. So we'll see what happens. Louis needs to catch up and fast, because there is a real possibility he could be left behind.
He could be left behind. Louis Valentine, I think, is an F7R are probably trying in their party to desperately try and get him in. You can see Louis Valentine holding that pace. 44.6, 44.7 coming down the straight behind Placky. He's probably in AI mode. He's getting control. He's responsible for his own actions out on track as Louis Valentine. But he's going to try and give Yossi probably communicate him into the party. Right, I've got 30 seconds until I join back. This game obviously wants me to join back. That's what they're giving. They're holding up on every single chance. It's a bit of a polar opposite to what MVR did. It's albeit a different whole grand scheme of things, but NVR, obviously, with that Kyle Pearson late lap, let's just say in Q3, Yossi now, Louis Valentine, it's kind of the same scenario, I guess, because Louis Valentine is wasting a little bit of time with Yossi. Yossi there in the lead of the race, Igor Jelen 2nd, Justin there in 3rd. I personally think his AI, if he doesn't rejoin in the next 30 seconds, he is going to be living above hope that he can try and get back in the session. If not, he is going to be a sitting duck, and Igor, Jelen and Justin are going to be a sitting duck as well. But Yossi leading the way from Igor Jelen 2nd, Justin then 3rd, Cameron Dowd in 4th. Safety car is in this lap, and because Yossi is in control of this, this is all AI-generated pace. So this is going to be judged to the game rather than to the driver. Yossi leading the way, 110 mile an hour. This is purely, as I say, on AI, and this is on Yossi. His AI is controlling the game, is controlling the pace right now. Everyone's probably thinking, well, this is going way too quick. Nothing he can do about it. He's not in control of his car, so it's all AI generated coming through the final corner now for Yossi. through the final corner. They can't overtake until the safety car line. This could be like a Magello sort of style start. Yossi's AI still hasn't got going. Now it goes. Coming out through the final corner, and Igor Jelen gets the job done through turn number 1. Perfect rejoin, but look at this. 4 wide down the straight. Cameron Dowd's trying to go for the outside line on Igor Jelen. Igor Jelen now having to try and force the move on Cameron. Cameron Dowd's got Igor Jelen. It's a car park in towards turn number 1. Kai Pearson. Justin might get out of this on top. Cameron Dowd's in the gravel. Cameron Dowd's is out of this. Kai Pearson leads. Mateo there in second. Allison there in third. It's like a little car park on a Sunday afternoon running down towards turn number 4.
Oh, it's so aggressive, isn't it, between the drivers at that down. It's to be expected. 1 lap to go in this one at the end of this particular race. Mateo back up to second. He wants to welcome himself back into this battle. ET8, by the way, 2nd and 5th out of nowhere. Wiener is actually having a good one. Gatkowski up into 4th. Will be happy to hold on to 4th as it stands so far. With plenty of people losing positions. Igor Jelen losing positions on the medium tyres, as to be expected at the moment. Valiant effort, but Justin and Igor Jelen not going to make that one to work. TTM Allison up to 3rd, though. They've had to double stack, so they've had to sacrifice Plaque. The TTM could be on for the podium that they've been so desperately looking for at the moment in 3rd, but they're going to have to fight off Gatkowski and Wiener, who are flying out there at the moment as well. Here comes Mateo getting closer and closer to Kai Pearson. Kai Pearson squeezing 2 drivers off at turn 1 at the end of this period, but surely in Mateo's hands.
Oh, Kai Pearson nearly lost the car, and Mateo is going to get full left position down in towards turn 1. Kai Pearson, though, still got a chance. He's got more overtake mode down the straight. Allison right involved in this race. We go in towards the final lap of the race. Allison on the back there of Kai. Kai on the back of Mateo. Mateo holds the lead. Kai really good, I've got to say, on the brakes there to try and hold the position. Wiener going up the inside line, and Gatkowski in the background tries to get the job done. Gatkowski leans on him slightly coming out of the corner. Now they're side by side. Coming to the right-hand turn number 3 at Cover Grande. Kai has just got to wait in behind on Mateo, but he doesn't want that. He wants the race lead, and he gets the race lead in toward the Delarod chicane. Kai Pearson now leads. Mateo there in second, but again, Mateo gets a better exit. Kai must be on a used set compared to Mateo on maybe a fresh set. Mateo is all over the back of Kai Pearson, the Italian stallion, on the back of the Brit. The Brit now under pressure, running down the straight through the Cover del Seraglio, in towards Ascari for the final time. Kai Pearson is hanging on for absolute grim life. They're on the same amount of ERS. Kai Pearson's low on fuel as well. Mateo coming through Ascari, through turn 9 and 10, gets a bad exit, but Kai Pearson has a bit of a twitch on the exit, and now Mateo has got the run on him in towards Parabolica. Not over and done with yet. He goes to the outside line. Can Mateo find the switchback? Kai Pearson holds the inside line. He holds the lead. Mateo now going to come back at him, running down the straight. It's going to be a photo finish. Kai Pearson just hangs on. Mateo in second. Allison in third, side by side to the line. Ogwin and Gatkowski in the background. Enzo, 2,000th of a second behind Ogwin as well. Mad ending to that race. Kai Pearson wins for now.
Yeah, for now, it's all about what the stewarding inquiry is going to be, and I have a feeling that this race is not over, because I think there's definitely going to be at least a couple of reports, we'll say, about Kai Pearson. He pushed 2 people off, I think, at turn 1, according to my screen anyway, but again, you know, it could be a completely different thing that I've seen versus everyone else. So whether or not it's determined to be completely legal because he's got the inside line, or whether worlds say that that's not what you meant to race, is going to be the question here. I'm wondering what the paddock and the manager's chat's going to be, because I have a feeling it's not going to be nice viewing tonight.
No, and it's not going to be nice viewing at all. It is Kai Pearson, though, to the top step of the podium for now. This will get decided in the steward's room. No matter if you're an MBR fan, an ET8 fan, or even a Shazoo or an Alpine fan further down the field, this will get decided in the steward's room. There's going to be a lot of changes, I guarantee you, from this race. The fallout will come definitely after as well. But in the end, it is Kai Pearson who takes the race win. Just. Mateo would have wanted that straight to be longer. He would have wanted that on track. Desperately no. The Italian there in second, unfortunately can't pick up the win. Unfortunately for the Italian fans, but he might get it in the steward's room. But it's Kai out on top for now. Mateo there in second, Allison there in third. Allison drove a fantastic race in those final 2 laps, kept him out of trouble, as did Wiener there down in fourth. Gatkowski there in fifth, your pick in fifth, not a bad run at all from him. Ogwin there in sixth, Enzo there in 7th, then Tudi in 8th, Raphael there in 9th, Cameron Dowd ran up the top 10, then Finn, Gabor, Yossi, Justin, Placky top 15. That's how it remains for now. Igor Jelen, Louis Valentano, race to forget. He did get the fastest lap, to be fair. Joe Murphy, Bell Belby, and Marlon, the 20 drivers that competed in that race. My God, Jota, I'm sweaty. I don't know how you're feeling after that, But my word, that was an intense end, and congratulations to Kai Pearson for that race win. But the stewards will definitely have a look at that race.
Yeah, I think the stewards are definitely going to have a look at that race, and I think there's plenty of drivers out there that are probably going to end up losing positions. Whether or not that includes the race winner is another question. We'll see what the statements are going to say, but for sure, Panic Chat is absolutely lively at the moment because people are not happy with some of the racing standards that we've seen tonight. Thank God that we have got a week break now between now and the next race, because I think the drivers are going to need it after that.
I think my voice needs it after that. Let's be honest. That final lap, I don't even think I took a breath in that final lap of the race. I might be needing oxygen in the hospital a little bit later on from that. But Italy is done. Thank goodness for that. We've now got a week's break. Transfer window is going to be open as well for the second time this season. And then we head to stateside. We go to Miami for round number 11 of the championship. I think it's Miami, if I'm not mistaken, one of their first since season 1 maybe, that we return to WOR Legacy Division 4 there in Miami in 2 weeks' time. Knowing how Miami is on this game, Jota, I have not really touched the track, but knowing how it can be good for racing down that long straight, down the straight and towards turn 16 as well, it could make up for a really good race. That is just if, though, the standards are not very similar to what we had tonight.
You know what? Slippy is the way that I describe Miami as well. If you get your setup wrong, you always lose it going around turn 3. So, going to be interesting to see how drivers sort of adapt to that one. I think these are world-class drivers anyway. Well, I mean, some of them didn't really show their world-class ability tonight, let's be honest, but they are world-class drivers. They're meant to be for world-class teams. So, we'll see what they bring to Miami. The standings will be getting updated briefly, but I have a sneaking suspicion that with that race win tonight, Novus might be just in the lead of this championship. But, of course, there's plenty of stewarding inquiries that we've got to make a note on. Well done, ET8, by the way. Really good effort for Wiener to climb back up the standings. ET8 needed that. They're 85 points away from Team Shazoo, the leaders, and they're 30 behind F7R. F7R never really got their race going. Yossi was just unfortunate just to be down where he was, to be honest with you. So I think with Yossi losing points there, you know, ETA might be in a bit of a position where they might have actually clawed back points against F7R, if not overtaken them. So we'll see what the standings say.
Definitely so. Matteo looks like he is wanting an interview. I've just asked Kai and Alison as well if they do want interviews as well. Of course, it's not mandatory that they can come in. I'm sure there's going to be a bit of beef between us and Kai Pearson, I guarantee it. I'm looking forward to that fight, to be honest. That is going to come up in about a minute or two's time. But we are at least going to have Matteo within the chat very soon. Indeed, it looks like Alison is going to be joining us as well. And we hopefully will be seeing, Kai Pearson as well. And speaking of which, he's actually in the interview room now. So, Jota, whenever you're ready, you can drag him in.
Yeah, I'll drag him in right now because I'd be very keen to hear what Kai's got to say. Starting with your comments there, James.
Definitely so, indeed. We can now speak to the man who ended up in... Oh, well, he's just gone into the waiting for interview party.
He's on his Xbox, so he'll need to join himself here, I think.
He'll have to join himself, okay. Hopefully we can get him in very soon indeed. While we wait, though, we'll run you through the rest of the calendar going forward. Of course, Australia in for the third sprint race even for the season, for round number 12. And then we've got Portugal, hopefully round 13, April 30th. It was a good race last night in PSGL. Britain in round 14. And then Austria, round number 15 of the championship. We potentially could see the title deciding then here for WOR Legacy Division, and more action to come as well for console. Still haven't got the right calendar, unfortunately, but it is a week earlier compared to what you're seeing on your screen. The console guys are on a break, I think, this week. No, they're not on a break this week. It is Italy this week, and then it's China, Austria, Miami, and Brazil rounding off the season for them. And PC side, very similar as well, but because of F1 Esports, I know for a fine fact there's going to be an announcement soon about what WOR are doing. I know PSGL have already mentioned about what they're doing for their PC tiers, so it might be the same, so that calendar might change. However, they've got Italy coming up on the 8th of April, which is next week. So if you do want to tune in for that, you can do. We haven't got Kai Pearson in for now, but hopefully we will get him in very soon.
Hopefully we can get him in soon. But we've got Matteo and Alison with us actually. So whilst we wait for Kai, why don't we have a quick conversation with the man finishing in second place by 65 thousandths of a second, Matteo, if you don't mind, James, because I really want to have a conversation with Matteo about that one actually. Really, really close in the end, wasn't it?
Really close in the end, indeed. Matteo, are you here?
Can you hear me?
We can. We can. Second night in a row. Second night in a row. I'm enjoying this, to be honest, but it is Matteo finishing in P2 in the end. Oh, how on earth you escaped that final couple of laps carnage, I do not know. You just pierced through the field, finishing second in the end. You'll be disappointed, I know, but talk us through that race.
Yeah, qualifying a bit tricky because I would have preferred a full dry qualifying. That wasn't the case, so we had to do the qualifying on the rain. Basically, one shot. I thought I messed up by retiring after the first lap, but in the end, it didn't really matter. So decent P3 to start the race with. And yeah, right strategy in my opinion. Good call on every safety car, but it basically came all up to the last two laps. Perfect restart. I think I could have managed the ERS a bit better, but I just had to use after the first chicane on lap 26 because I had guys all over me on my back who wanted to pass me. So I had to use ERS, and that is what made the difference in the last straight.
Yeah, definitely. So, Kai obviously had a little bit lower fuel as well going on to the final lap of the race. Certainly, his red fuel light was flashing right at the end there. You came 65 hundredths close to winning that race. Can still obviously be decided off track. Obviously, I think penalties are going to be very key around here. But P2 still for you. And considering Wiener finished, what, P5, I think, in the end, great result for ET8 on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Being Italian, I want this win on track because I kind of feel this race. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a win post Stewards. It's not how I like to win, but a win is a win. We got one snatched away in Las Vegas, so we surely will take it if it arrives. Good result. Talking about the team overall as well. Um, I think this was the best night probably in terms of points for us in the championship. So we are really happy. This is what we can do, and we just gotta keep up in the other races to fight for the title.
Definitely so, because ETA had such a strong season, such a strong start even to the season, winning the first race, Ian Van Noonen taking the race win there, and then the seasons just seem to have dropped off. So hopefully this is ETA beginning to come back to their peak, beginning to find the points, and hopefully finding the results out on track as well. Jota, coming across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've got a curious question about ETA actually, because your teammate Wiener was a little bit off the pace here, but obviously that third safety car really, really brought ETA's race back to life. Really, desperate points that you guys have needed, especially in that battle with F7R, who really couldn't get their race going. So, is this the start of the resurgence that you guys need to be the title contenders again?
Yeah, we have the pace. I think every one of us has to work on the actual in-session pace in qualifying to avoid situations like the one of winner tonight. But we are doing that already. We know we need this to fight for the title. And yeah, the safety car kind of saved us in a day where every title contender was basically involved in an incident, at least MBR, Shazoo, F7R. And yeah, we have to take these chances, gain points when others lose points, like tonight. And yeah, that is it.
A few words, if you don't mind, about the racecraft out there tonight, because it looked especially aggressive. I'm assuming, obviously, you've been the witness and/or were involved in, X amount of incidences yourself. So I'm assuming there's going to be a pretty aggressive amount of reports tonight.
Yeah, I think so. As you might have noticed, I kind of talked about Akai reports potentially. I think I was kind of lucky to not be involved in an incident because it took just one misjudged corner and that was it for the race. But I stayed out of the chaos. I knew that Monza is a track where it's easy to overtake, so I could let people by if they really wanted to overtake. I managed the race well, as I always do. I try to not be involved in any contacts and basically take the chances, even if I don't have the pace. Tonight wasn't the case. I had really good pace, but on every night I like to avoid contacts and take the chances.
So close to a really, really good race victory, but in the end, a very solid second place for yourself and ETA. Thank you very much for your time, Matteo. James.
Yeah, that is it for me as well. Congratulations, Matteo, on P2. Could be a P1 coming my way, and another prediction me right if that's the case. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Have a nice evening.
Very welcome indeed. We can now speak to the man who finished in P3. It is Mr. TTM Allison. Allison, you have got to be absolutely delighted with that result for TTM. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, it was a fun race. A lot of overtaking and battling, so that's always fun, of course. And luckily, I managed to stay out of trouble all the time. So yeah, there was the safety cars were a bit annoying though, because I was just saving my battery and everything to like overtake like the next lap. Then the safety car came out, and then my whole plan was just ruined. So yeah, it wasn't ideal without DRS trying to overtake when you're P3. It's basically impossible. So. Yeah, but no, nevertheless, it's still P3 is still good. So yeah,
Yeah,
might even be more of a report. Good points for the team.
exactly. It's really good points for the team as well. Because speaking of the team, TTM were what, sixth in the standings coming into tonight. Team TF10 falling slightly by the wayside. BRT falling by the wayside as well. Good solid points as well. Obviously, with the overhanging result of this race as well, could even be more points considering what happened in the final two laps.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix because my teammate Plucky was also in like P6 before he got involved in the incident. So it's a bit of a mixed feeling really. We could have scored more, we could have scored less. So yeah, I think we should be happy. And for me personally as well, especially after Monaco, I really wanted to get the podium. So yeah, finally on it. Took
Yeah,
some
so
time.
yeah, solid result. Definitely out on track. I'll come across now to TTM's biggest fanboy in the commentary box. Jota, any questions?
I've always had a soft spot for TTM, to be fair, because you guys you've got a cracking roster of drivers, to be fair, and I think you were a bit unfortunate to not really be as progressive in this championship than perhaps you could have been. But this is a really, really good podium for you guys. You know, obviously, in the midst of what has been some pretty big red mist for some of the drivers out there, you guys have sort of sneaked your way through, managed to really work at it, and cautiously make your way to the podium tonight. So what is the expectation during this week break then? What are you guys going to work on in order to be in this position again next week? Or 2 weeks' time, sorry.
Yeah, I think next week is Miami, so I can tell you one thing. I'm not driving that, but I'm sure the guys who are driving they can practice a lot now, especially with the break week. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully, we will be interviewing you again, or all the way around. Sorry.
What's the thoughts then? I want to pose this question to you again because this is not the first time this season we've had to talk about racecraft. You guys have been able to keep out of, some pretty hefty incidents here tonight. So, from an outsider's point of view, what did you guys witness? And, what do you reckon the amount of stewarding appeals is there going to be?
I mean, for me, the problem is like into heavy braking zones, you have so many smokes, so you can't really see anything. So if you try to overtake a car and everyone brakes very early, it's so easy to like brake 10 meters later, and then you just hit the back of someone, and then that makes someone spin out or something like that. It's very easy uh, to like cause incidents, but when you're not actually trying to do that, like previous games it was different with the smoke. You could actually see the apex, but at this game, I had laps where I was just guessing where the apex was, and then I completely cut the whole corner. So it's just, I think it's just a mix of the game and people trying to be like ultra aggressive. But but yeah, people will learn from that as well. I have been involved in incidents as well. But you see, you learn from your mistakes, and hopefully next ones will be more cleaner.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
So,
you guys, sorry, I just realized I was talking on mute. You guys have done a really good job to get that one as well. So thank you very much for your time. And then I'll pass it on to James. Sorry, mate.
that's all right. All questions are done for me as well. Congratulations, Allison. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Very welcome indeed. Now, I think we're going to have to do a job because we're going to have to go across, I think, to Mr. Kai Pearson, who is in the waiting room. Unless we can drag him in. Let's try. I'll drag him in first, and then if not, then we'll do him in the right.
I have a feeling we're not going to be able to because he is connecting via Xbox. I did try to join him, connect him in, but he just immediately resumes his position in the waiting for interview section. We have dragged him in, and fingers crossed he will be with us in this one.
This is more promising, at least. There he is.
And he is with us. Yes.
I knew that would work. May as well try it all. But Kai Pearson, congratulations for now on that race win. Hectic final 2 laps of the race. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a hectical race, to be honest. I mean, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a bit speechless.
Yeah, I think given how the standard of driving was, it could have been a hell of a lot better from everyone else's perspective. I'm speechless in terms of questions, to be honest, to ask you, because I think that was pretty much one of the most aggressive races I think we've ever had in Legacy Division. And it was the case where you, Cameron, Matteo were all up there towards the front end of the field. Then that late safety car came out. Talk us through what was going through your mind in that safety car.
Frustration, really. It's a bit annoying that like safety cars just come out all the time for like, I don't know, either wing damage or just a silly incident. But there's like, I don't know, there's one team that just dive it down your inside and they expect you to move out the way. And when they get spun round because of it, they blame it on me. So like I don't really know what they expect me to do, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the thing, because obviously driving talents around the Temple of Speed. I said it to Jota, I think in the intermission. We were going on about driving talents around this track. I've had really good races around this track, and then you've had races like this where you know that the driving standards from our perspective in the commentary box can be a lot better. From the drivers, from your perspective there, Kai, just saying it can be a lot better as well. And I think everyone just needs to not attempt to go for moves that's not going to be theirs. Have a second guess basically before you think about going for a move, and then counteract that with the balance of, am I going to get the run? Am I going to get the person ahead if I wait a little bit longer? And if that's the case, then it will be a hell of a lot better, I think, in terms of the standards of driving.
Yeah, I mean it's like especially at the start of a race when it's like lap 5 and you're putting it 3 wide into a chicane and expecting it to all go right. I mean, that's not even what should happen on the last lap battle, but yeah.
And unfortunately, I was on the inside of Yossi's perspective for that one as well, so that was even worse, I think, from a viewer's perspective as well. Jota, though, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
I want to dig a little bit deeper, actually, into that particular incident, because I think that really sort of set the precedent for F7R in that particular race. Yossi really just had the pace, but just couldn't keep it together. So from your perspective, you know, going through turn 2 into turn 3 and 4, you know, you and your teammate were working in correspondence, obviously, block any kind of move. We've seen this, you know, repeated by NVR. Really, really good. You know, a little bit of teamwork in this one, but Yossi decided to, you know, go down your inside. He was squeezed a little bit onto the grass, but he went for the dive anyway. You know, from your perspective, what is the limit when it comes to the racing standards? Because it seems like the teams have all got a different idea of what that is.
Well, from my perspective of it, like, so we're all about, me and Gabo are about neck and neck. Yossi was a bit behind, I think, I don't know. And he's put it down the inside. If I back off, well, I'm sandwiched. So with the contact model, if I back off and my front tyres hit their rear tyres, I'm spinning out. So I obviously have to brake deep. And then, like, on the apex of the next corner on such a tight angle because he sent it down, I've got no time to back out or turn anymore. Like, I tried to leave as much space as possible, but it just don't really work at Monza.
In that particular instant, you know, I'm just looking, and this is not pointing any fingers at any specific individual, but again, my third question is going to be exactly the same, you know, to you, is that the racing standards are obviously going to come into question again. The last time that we sort of had these sort of deep and pretty candid conversations was actually in Las Vegas. So what what for your point of view, what is the expectation of the teams? We're going to be seeing loads of reports. What do you expect the final result to finally be at the end of it? Just in your point.
I don't think I'm gonna win. Because like personally, on my side, I don't think I did anything wrong, but obviously because a car has spun out and I've kept going, I just think that I'll be awarded a penalty, and I think there'll be many incidents reported, so it'll be unlikely that I'll escape all of them. I think I'll still get top 10. But yeah, I don't actually know what the finishing order was, so I haven't got a clue who's gonna win.
A little bit of a messy one in the end, and I think the finishing order was quite messy in the end, which then obviously deciphers what is effectively being a messy race from start to finish. Nonetheless, though, if you don't think you're at fault, then you've got nothing to worry about with regards to the penalties. But we'll see what the stewards have got to say. James, thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely so. And Kai, hopefully Friday will be a lot better as well in terms of the racing there. And hopefully you can continue on your great form in WOR Console Tier 1 from last week as well. Congratulations on the race win for now. Go and enjoy Ethan.
Thank you.
Very welcome indeed. And just like that, the interviews are done. But this stream is not done because we have received the updated championship standings. And well, oh well, it is very interesting, I've got to say, because Team Shazoo have lost their lead as it stands. All provisional, remember. We'll come to an intermission screen just while we do this. Gabor and Kai Pearson, my mind absolutely froze there for a second. NVR currently lead by 9 points over Team Shazoo. 410 to 401 is the gap. So Team Shazoo, obviously, if there's a change, Luke's already said it in the announcement saying there's going to be changes in the field, then NVR will not probably keep that race win. We may not keep that lead as well that they've got. But it's a 9-point gap for now, Jota. Obviously, if the result was to remain as it is, which it probably more than likely isn't going to, Team Shazoo there in second, 401. 9 points is a very tight gap, even still going into the break week and even still going into Miami in 2 weeks.
Yeah, with only 5 races to go, 9 points, especially when 40 points were on offer for a race win, going down all the way to 15th, of course. It's just a clear indication of how World has been this season, how close it is. Big shout out to ET8, by the way, who have managed to claw back a significant chunk of points, who now go third in the standings above F7R. F7R on 328, ET8 now on 349. So the gap sort of closing down by a small margin, of course, to Novus Racing and Team Shazoo, who are sort of battling it out towards the front with a small gap there. And NLR doing a really good job as well to hold 5th place in the end, which has been a bit of a tumultuous time. But TTM, 174 points as a result of that one as well. Really, really good stuff, and I'm certainly looking forward to see what the rest of the season has got coming up. But critically, absolutely need the break for this one, and this week break is going to give everyone a time to just reconcile and just remember that we're all here on a platform in our bedrooms.
Yeah, we are all here enjoying sim racing, enjoying motorsport first, and I think that's what ultimately the basics come down to in sim racing these days. Obviously, there's going to be instances no race is ever going to be 100%. That's in Legacy Division. That's in any other league that you run in as well. And honestly, we expect the driving standards, from our perspective as commentators, we do not want to commentate on the worst driving standards ever. These guys are the future of F1 sim racing. And F1 sim racing got announced today. Their calendar, of course, going forward is what, six races each, 2 events over in Stockholm and Sweden. And these guys, like you saw tonight, the likes of Cameron Dowd, the likes of Kai Pearson, the likes of Matteo, even the likes of Justin further down the field, these guys are the future. And console is in a dire place. Let's just be honest. It is in a very dire place in terms of the standards. There's no shining light coming through in terms of console as to who might take the race wins, who might dominate here and there. Obviously, Matteo's running away with things in the other league. WOR, Kai Pearson, of course, has taken the stranglehold there. But otherwise, there is no one such driver that is coming out and screaming, this is our future. And hopefully, these guys will show that in 2 weeks' time in Miami, where we expect the driving standards to be better. the drivers expect the driving standards to be better, but most importantly, you guys as viewers expect the driving standards to be better. And I think we will finish on that thought. A big thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight. If you did enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you are brand new to the channel. We are going to be back with you after our long sunny break, I've got to say, in Miami in 2 weeks' time. We are going to be seeing you there, of course, in Miami, in Florida, at the Hard Rock Stadium in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully the drivers will calm down by then. Hopefully we'll calm down by then as well. But for myself and Jota, we will leave you with our sponsors, Grid Finder and Next Level Racing. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.